Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a regular meeting of the Amador County Board of Supervisors for March 10th. The board met at 8:30 in closed session. And item 1, nothing to report. Item 2, direction was given. Item 3, the confidential minutes were approved 401. Note for the meeting that Supervisor Epperson is on a much-needed vacation, so it'll just be the 4 of us today. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pretty good volume out there this morning. All right, public matters not on the agenda. These are discussion items only, no action to be taken. Any person may address the board on any subject within our jurisdiction. However, any matter requires action may be referred to staff and or committee for a report and recommendation at a subsequent board meeting. Please note there is a 3-minute time limit, and we would sign the sheet on the podium if you come up to speak. So, any public comment?
Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to know if the consent item was pulled for the,
We haven't got there yet.
oh, but that will be discussed.
We're aware of it.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Supervisor Crew, supervisors, and the team here in Amador County. Nathan Alonzo with Pacific Gas and Electric, part of the local government affairs team. Just wanted to come before you this morning to give a quick update and to present to you our new government affairs rep here that will be covering Amador County going forward. So on the quick update front, I just wanted to come and thank you all for your collaboration during these previous series of storms. Our meteorologists and some of the other folks have said that this was the 5th largest storm to hit in recent memory, and I think that the effects, especially the folks up in the high country, definitely felt that. We appreciate the collaboration from your public works team and the patience of all of the residents here in Amador County as we did our best and battled some access issues in order to be able to get everybody restored as quickly and as safely as possible. A couple of days ago, Ellen and then I previously had sent out some information that for the 4th and now the 5th time in 2 years, we are dropping the price per kilowatt hour to our residential electric and gas customers. So customers should see between a 3 and 5% dip in their overall bill. Dollars-wise, that translates to about $25 in savings a month. This is an overall effort on the affordability front. And it's something that we're going to continue to work at. So with that, wanted to come by and thank you all for the wonderful opportunity that it's been to work with all of you over the course of the last several months since we've worked on filling this role up here in Amador County. You've all been a treat to work with, and my predecessor's predecessor, Dylan George, said, you're going to like working with that group. They're a bunch of hardy folks, and boy was he right. So with that, I want to introduce Ellen, who will be the relationship lead from here on out, and will do a great job advocating for all of you at our company. Thank you.
All right.
Chairman, supervisors, I'm super excited to introduce myself, put a face to my name, Ellen Brittingham. Excited to be working with you as a partner on behalf of PG&E. This is my 3rd week, so I'm excited to meet you all so soon and to be a resource to you and your staff. My family has farmed in Amador County, out there in Jackson, here in Jackson. So I'm excited to sort of make that full circle moment and come back to my roots. So look forward to working with you.
What's your name again?
Ellen Brittingham.
Ellen Freeham?
Brittingham.
Brigham.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You know, I had one question. Might be a hard question for you. Maybe he can answer it. I don't know. Because you're new and one want to throw it at you.
Oh, let her have it.
Give her
But
one
we
shot.
don't answer questions during public comment. I'm kidding.
Well, we can send you an email. I guess, talking about the storm, did PG&E do any cloud seeding or weather modification around this timeframe?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. If I want, okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, any other public comment? Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm gonna lower this.
There you go.
I'm Diana. I'm a IHS provider here in the county. As you see, we've been here for the last couple of weeks, kind of pounding the same message to you guys. I kind of ran across something I wanted to share with everyone. This was a report as of early 2026, the average rent in Amador County is approximately $1,908 a month. This is slightly above the national average, with one-bedroom apartments here in Amador County starting at $1,680 a month. What I do I'm a live-in provider. What I do is extremely exhausting. Because I live with my recipient, I never feel like I have any time off. If I want to get away from my job, I have to leave my now home in order to get a break. It's really hard to stay in this line of work. Most of what I do not get paid for. I do more work that I don't get paid for than I do work that I do get paid for. I recently just had my CalFresh cut as well. This has put a really hardship on myself. It is imperative that we come to some sort of conclusion to our wage crisis that we have. And I'd like to see our workers here get more pay. As I said before, when we don't have providers in our county, it's not just the recipients that suffer. It is our local long-term care facilities and hospitals that get overcrowded, and the people who have a less what am I trying to say, quality of life. So I would urge everybody just to kind of come together, and if we can get this solved, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay,
I'm going to sign my name.
please.
You have a good day.
You too. Anyone else, public comment? Yes, sir.
Hello, Jeff. How are you?
Fine, how you
Good.
doing?
I had a meeting with Jeff last night, and I'm going to be a broken record. My name's Randy Roberts. I'm from Upcountry. Thanks for the opportunity. We've been up here for about 60 years as a kid, and then owning properties up here. I noticed with this last storm that it was the worst I've ever seen in terms of damage and trees falling. I wondered why that was, because the snow wasn't worse than we've typically seen. But I have a pretty good guess what that is, having worked on trees for a pretty good portion of my life, cutting my own down, doing my own work. The work that's gone on for 6 different sessions of cutting trees on my property has thinned out the trees for probably 30% of our trees are gone, based on the PG&E going through every 6 months for the last 3.5 years. And I noticed that they opened up the forest enough that the wind got in and knocked down trees that wouldn't normally fall. The snow then also builds up on the remaining trees because there isn't as many trees in the canopy to spread that snow out. So the trees that are remaining get a heavier snow load, and the wind infiltrates because there's so many trees missing and much less tree cover to stop that wind penetration into that forest. and a lot more trees fall down. I've got some pictures if somebody cares in Amador Pine. Excuse me, I kind of ran in, so we were running a little late. But I've got pictures walking down the road where it's probably a tree down every 10 yards. The power was out in our area for 9 to 11 days, which is the worst we've ever seen. This is after PG&E has gone through and removed all the problem trees. I understand that they're trying to do their best. Their concept is mainly to prevent trees from falling onto the power lines because they're get in trouble for it. But I don't think they truly understand what they're doing. I talked to the arborist. I went to the CPUC after talking to the arborist for an hour and a half a couple months ago when she'd marked 3 more trees that were outside their right-of-way, 90 to 110 feet up and leaning uphill away from the power lines. And I was baffled after all the work we have to do to clean up the mess they make. And yes, I know they supposedly clean up all the limbs, but the trees that fall knock down other limbs from other trees. When they hit the ground, they explode. The limbs that get underneath stay underneath. And most of my neighbors that don't occupy the property full-time don't clean up anything. So there's a much greater mess on the ground, which I end up cleaning up as best I can, though I'm not going to clean up the whole lots. But in any case, I talked to the arborist about what was going on with the trees and why they were cutting these trees. And she said, well, we've done 6 different campaigns, each time looking for something different with these trees. And it makes me kind of wonder, did that mean when they're marking 3 trees on the 6th or 7th campaign, did the first 6 people who looked to the forest not see the problem trees? Because trees don't change much in 3-4 years. None of these trees had died. None of these trees had further injuries. None of these trees had any other issues. She said they just looked like a problem. They're too close together. And we have a concern about 1 or 2 of them not having enough growth on top, so they look kind of frail. So by the way, none of these trees fell during the storm. I guess my point here is, and then I guess maybe the real point to get to here is, I said, okay, so you agree, I presume, with my comment about when you open a forest up, the trees that aren't used to that much wind and that much snow load will have higher failure. And she said, yeah, we haven't really looked at that. I take that very seriously when our property's at risk, that they aren't, the right hand isn't looking what the left hand's doing, and they've just got campaigns and they're not thinking holistically about what the outcome is. I apparently have 3 minutes left, thank you.
Summarize.
So I'm hoping between me going to the CPUC and I got a call from an executive, and they really just wanted to argue with me that their process is a good process. It's that my trees must be a problem. But when I look at the roadsides and see the additional trees down on the sides of the roads in all the rural areas in Amador Pines, and it's much worse than it used to be. So many people can't or don't clean up. And the increased number of trees that have fallen in this last storm, I have to say, quality assurance or knowing what you're doing means you look at what you did and then you measure and see, was I successful? And they weren't successful, and I told them that they really ought to go look at that, and it seemed to go right over their heads. And somehow protecting us as homeowners, property owners, and paying the insurance we pay would really be beneficial if they step back and look a little more closely at what they're doing. I want to thank you all for listening, and I hope perhaps there's some actions taken, or at least somebody else starts thinking about that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom?
No, not at this time.
Okay, seeing none more, we will move on to approval of the agenda. We have an addendum, but that's on consent, so. Any questions on the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
All
Second.
right. Second?
With the addition of the addendum?
No, because the addendum is on consent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That fooled
I
me.
didn't even catch that.
I think
Unless if I got that wrong?
I think this is the item that you would make changes, additions, or subtractions
Before
to
we
the
get
agenda.
to
The next item is taking action on the consent agenda. So this is where you would do the,
Okay,
Did comment on,
Supervisor Brown?
Yes, would you mind pulling consent item 6B to the regular agenda for conversations?
Okay, and we will make that agenda item 4A1, right after Red Cross. And then there is an addendum on the consent, would make it 6S, the Sheriff's Department, that you should have a copy of for their purchase, voting safety and financial aid program. So that would be 6S,
That's regular session.
regular session.
Yeah.
No, that's on consent.
the addendum will go on consent.
The addendum goes on consent.
Okay,
Even though it says regular session addendum, it had me confused too.
okay.
So they're both consent changes. So we had a motion, a second, and we made those changes.
Can I, so
Yep.
I amend my motion to include those changes.
Okay? Okay with a second?
That's good.
All right, we'll call for the question on the consent with those changes. Do we need a roll call vote with absentee? I forgot.
only if they're participating remotely.
Okay, okay. Call for the question. All in favor of the
Got a
consent?
comment on Zoom.
There's a Zoomer?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello, sorry I missed public comment. I didn't realize that the Zoom link was in the agenda. I was like scrambling trying to find it. So I'm a teacher for Amador County. My name is Michael Garcia. And I was just curious if you guys were aware that something happened with the county and our middle of the month checks were messed up for the direct deposit people. So now I'm trying to scramble to figure out what I'm going to do for the next 24 hours because I live paycheck to paycheck. And I was just wondering if anybody had an explanation as to why the county didn't finish the process.
No.
So I know you probably can't answer the question, but
I
I
hadn't heard
figured I'd
anything
put it
about
out into the ether. So there's a bunch of teachers that aren't getting their paycheck or their middle of the month check right now because of an error on the clerical side in the county. So I'd just like that to be known.
So you work for the school board?
I work for the school district. I'm a teacher.
Okay. Okay. No, that's out of our control, but yeah, we can
Well,
see.
I was told by the district that the county actually finishes the direct deposit portion of their stuff, and something wasn't done on that end of it. So
I had
at
not
least
heard.
that's what I've been told. So.
So we will look and figure out what happened.
Yeah, I know it's a little after the fact, Michael, but we will look into it and see where the ball was dropped. Is that all?
Yep. No other comments there.
Okay.
Power got cut off.
Okay, now we're still on the consent. We had an amendment to it. We had a approval by Supervisor Carnell and a second by Supervisor Oneto. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0-1. Okay, we're ready for the regular agenda. 4A is a presentation of a resolution recognizing the month of March as Red Cross Month. Do we have someone here from the Red Cross? Would like to make a comment or two?
Good morning,
Good
Chairman
morning.
and Supervisors. Thank you so much for allowing the American Red Cross to support the county. My name is Rebecca Mitch. I'm with the American Red Cross Disaster Program Manager and our volunteers. We have now 70 volunteers across Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne, and Alpine counties. And as disasters grow, we see a greater need. What we have done is our disaster action team goes out 24/7, 7 days a week, all holidays, and they support people on their worst days. As of recent, with the significant storms, we had 225 overnight stays over Amador, Calaveras, and Tuolumne counties. We served 800 meals, and we supported folks that needed a warm and welcome place to stay. In addition to that, in the fires over the summer, we served 2,600 meals and supported 5 shelters. So all in all, over the past year, 12 total shelters and about 12 disaster action team calls in the middle of the night. So just thank you for supporting us to support the community, because our 70 volunteers work tirelessly. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I have a resolution here. I'll read it to you if you don't mind. It's a resolution 26-030, recognizing the month of March 2026 as Red Cross Month. Whereas in March, we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors who make its humanitarian mission possible in Amador County. Every day, their acts of kindness change lives, bring relief, comfort, and hope when help can't wait. This compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. And whereas today the 70 volunteers who serve the Motherlode Territory light the way during emergency, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after disaster, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, empowering individuals with skills like first aid and CPR that save lives, and nationally providing a safe, life-saving blood supply. And whereas Amador County's 13 volunteers have supported 9 local families through post-disaster casework, have presented disaster preparedness to 207 kindergarten through 3rd grade students and 211 adults, and install smoke alarms. And whereas these collective efforts are a powerful reminder that the strength of our community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, let's celebrate our local heroes and resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone. Therefore, be resolved that the Amador County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month and encourages all citizens of Amador County to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. The foregoing resolution was duly passed by the board on the meeting of the 10th day of March. My personal thank you very much. All right, I would get up, but I gotta. Okay, did you want to get a picture with the vice or? Okay. He said he had to make sure there wasn't somebody taller than him, though. Vice Chairman Cornell is stepping in for me.
Andy, can you wear any more hats?
All right. Now we're going to take 6G and move it to 4A1. No. What number was that?
6B.
6B is the adoption of the ordinance amending Chapter 7.30 to the Amador County Code regarding defensible space requirement and hazardous vegetation and combustible material abatement. The reading was waived on February 24th. Suggested action is to adopt the ordinance. We have further public comment on this issue, so we'll open that right up to public comment. If you have questions or comments, please come forward. Sign your name and tell us who you are, even if we already know. Please.
Hi, good morning.
Good
I'm
morning.
Sherry Curtis. I'm from Amador Pines, and I am very concerned because I think it's been over 2 years we've been coming to you as the board and the fire board to please give us some enforceable ordinances for fire protection. I was told again last night that you didn't have the authority to do that, and so I brought you all the ordinance and the government code that says you do have authority.
Ms. Curtis, do you have an extra copy?
Anyway, I thought it important that the public have some knowledge of what, after 2 years, is what was, all that we got was this good neighbor letter. And unfortunately, it's not enough.
One thing
I
was-
think the,
Sorry, I thought you were done.
oh,
Go ahead.
I think the, maybe there's been a misunderstanding of the real problem. The real problem is we have not only vacant lots, which I'm concerned about, that has no requirements at all for fire prevention to clean their or keep their properties maintained. But it's unfortunate that homeowners have a multitude of regulations and requirements to do that under CAL FIRE laws for defensible space. So we've had no response from CAL FIRE on properties that do have homes on them that don't maintain. In our area, anyway, 4 or 5 people have called on different properties. We get no inspection, nothing from them. So I was wondering, is that why you thought this letter might help, except that you're putting the burden back on the people who really care and are cleaning their properties and making the good neighbor them, and it should be the good, it's upside down. The neighbor should be the good neighbor, the one who doesn't clean his property, but when he finds out a person might need defensible space, then clean it for them. But their properties are endangering all our properties, and that's not right. And you, as the board, fire board and board of supervisors, have the ability and authority to do your job as a government agency to protect your homeowners from the properties that aren't being cleaned up. So we're just wanting to make sure that this is not what you think is going to solve your problem. I doubt it very much. I know people who work hard to clean their properties don't have much energy left to go over and clean up their neighbor's property. Every property owner in the county has a duty to also care about fire protection. We don't want to lose our beautiful county to a paradise fire. I've been through a fire, so I know how horrible it is. And I wouldn't want any of us in the county to have a fire, especially if everybody is doing what they can, everybody except you guys. You're not doing all you can. There is no ordinance affecting vacant properties. And even the ordinance that you have now existing has a caveat in it. It says, no duty to enforce. Nothing in this chapter shall be construed as imposing on any enforcement official, the County of Amador, any special district or other public agency, any duty to issue a notice of violation or order to abate, nor to abate any violations of this chapter. And neither the enforcement official, nor the county, nor any special district or other public agency shall be held liable for failure to take actions. We're asking for a viable ordinance that covers all properties in Amador County. I don't know how to explain it, but this letter is doing the job of CAL FIRE. They're supposed, at least I was told, they were responsible for the defensible space enforcement. So I'm just requesting again, hopefully, that you'll consider an ordinance that will do the job. Let's get serious about fire prevention here. I don't know what business would want to come, or a home person to buy a home here, if they don't think Amador County has a good, decent fire ordinance here for fire protection, since we're all in the high fire zone area. It's a very serious problem, and I don't think you guys have grasped that yet. So I'm begging you, please consider equal application of the law to all property, to be have fire protection issues there, clean, to keep it clean. And we do all the best we can. And I grant you that we can't control where lightning goes, but we can all do the best, and we should all be caring about it, because that's one of the biggest dangers we have in this county. Thank you very much.
All right, Jerry. Anyone else? Oh.
And Randy Roberts, can you hear me without this? Can you hear me if I speak loudly?
They need the recording for the minutes later.
Okay, so I just want to reaffirm, I believe the term that Sherry read was no duty to would you like to, Sherry, what was the exact words? No duty to enforce doesn't preclude enforcement. What it says is you aren't obligated to do anything or to put a penalty on landowners. It doesn't stop you from taking an extra step. Even if it's a letter, should I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if it's a letter, oh, that's quite all right. I think Jeff heard enough of me last night.
Sorry.
That's quite all right.
Ask a question of the county council.
Yeah, even if it's a letter that goes out to homeowners that notifies them that they're in violation of standards set by the CAL FIRE, that would help. We haven't had an inspection at my house 10, 12 years. My next door neighbor has not cleaned their property that I know of in 40. I clean the edge of it. I cannot walk through the middle of their lot. There's so many trees down. It's a pickup sticks game, and I'm pretty agile. There's a piece of property 10 acres below me this is Amador Pines, that has been unbuilt on and untouched since I was 5 years old, and I'm not a little kid anymore. It is a pickup sticks game. We're all paying my insurance, my wife's and my insurance has gone from, I think it was $500, and what are we paying now, $3,000? It's gone up in 2 years to $3,000, and we were lucky they didn't cancel it and put us on fair play, fair plan. Most of our neighbors have been put on that. You know, I've already mentioned that PG&E is adding to the concerns along the roadways with the mess they're making, even though most of them try, but the homeowners in a lot of cases and property owners are not cleaning up even the trees, and a lot of limbs stay on the ground. So we need to do something. We don't want to have our houses burnt down. We don't want to pay confiscatory insurance rates. I don't know if there's not a lawyer in this group, but words are powerful. And you don't have to threaten. You don't have to have a penalty if you can't come up with one initially, but just to get things out to the property owners that very clearly state they're in violation would help a lot more than something asking neighbors to clean up other people's property. I know it was an attempt, I appreciate it, but I don't think it's going to do any good. I would suspect you'd have less than 1% of people going, gee, great, my neighbor will do it, and so I'll tell them, or I'll sign a piece of paper. That's not going to be effective. So please find a way. It would sure help us all and save an awful lot of money and an awful lot of risk in fires and insurance rates. Thank you.
Okay. Earl?
Earl Curtis from Amador Pines. I've seen this letter that I guess you will send out at our request of a vacant lot owner. It really is offensive to me that I cleaned up my property and now I really have a bunch to clean up. For them to get a letter that is asking them permission for me to clean up land on their property. Now, if it were vacant land, that really concerns me. These people, I don't even know why they own vacant land for a long time in Amador County if they're not going to do anything with it. It seems like people who own the land should have as much responsibility for it as those of us, vacant land, should have as much responsibility for it as those of us who have a house on it. Now, I know CAL FIRE thinks that vacant land is not a fire hazard, and it's not in itself. It usually takes something to start a fire. They think houses are a fire hazard, and we have to clear 30 feet and modify to 100 feet to protect CAL FIRE's trees. They're CAL FIRE's trees until they burn. I'll tell you, my trees, I had 40 acres in Calaveras County, burnt down in the Butte fire. I had defensible space around my house, and by the will of God, my house didn't burn, but I had 40 acres of dead trees. Then they became my trees. CAL FIRE didn't come help clean them up. It's something that we have to take responsibility for, and I think some way we have to have vacant landowners do something to help the fire, keep fires under control. And I don't think this letter, it's just an offensive letter to a homeowner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any others?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Barbara Bernacki. I live in Pioneer by Buckhorn. And I got to agree with the other speakers of what they've said, so I don't need to repeat those particular things. But I do want to say the thing about the good neighbor. I know for a fact that I have a neighbor on one side, and they are not yard people. They have said they are not yard people. They do not clean. And I myself clean my whole full yard, my own self, and I am exhausted to think that I'm going to go over and clean somebody else's yard for them to say, yeah, sure, go ahead, when they don't want to. The only thing that they had done last year was spray, but spraying doesn't do anything because the dead weeds are still left behind, and then that can catch on fire. So this good neighbor, I don't agree with it. I think that each individual needs to be responsible for their own belongings. And myself, if I have a neighbor across the street from time to time, she may ask me, can you help me hold a limb so I can cut it? That's being a good neighbor, but not for me to have to clean their whole yard because they have no means of authority telling them that they need to clean their yard. And I think that you folks have that authority to put that upon those people that refuse to clean their yards. That's putting danger upon us that do care about our homes. And if this county here catches on fire, there's nothing here. I mean, you say you don't have the money. Well, there's not going to be no money if this county catches on fire, and we need to do better by our fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Anyone else? All right, we have a Zoom, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Farrington, please go ahead when ready.
Thank you. Rich Farrington. I'm a resident of Pioneer. We're also a member of the Fortress Firewise community, and we do have some properties that are overgrown, that are vacant, that I think have been, and I think are a threat. If there were houses on these properties, they would be in violation. It seems like there needs to be some kind of a weed abatement type approach to put some pressure on the owners of vacant properties. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Any other Zoomers?
No, not at this time.
Anyone else from the public?
Mr. Chairman.
Comments from the supervisors?
Can we have Ashley come forward for a little bit to what other programs she's working on? Is our Amador Fire Protection District?
Good morning, Ashley and I am a Fire Prevention Officer, AFPD. I can respect the comments that have been made. The Good Neighbor packet, I know we've discussed it in ad hoc, and it's supposed to be more of an olive branch. It's not removing any of the enforcement opportunities or options that are already incorporated into the 7.30 ordinance. It is just supposed to be kind of a olive branch or a preface to discussing, and then the clearance that the neighbor is asking for is not the entire property, just so we're clear on that. It is only to achieve 100 feet of defensible space that is needed for their structure. Let's see. As far as that goes, it was something to try out, something to attempt to remedy some of these issues and situations, and I appreciate the public's comment, and we'll note that down.
What other programs are you working on right now?
In regards to the other ordinances that...
Well, as far as like vacant lots and, you know...
for the vacant lots, this was, the Good Neighbor packet is where we were starting for
Right.
the vacant lots. And then the other stuff that we had been dealing with was simply for the illegal burning and fireworks. We haven't...
But there's more steps that you're making on the vacant lots. You're not just leaving it at this, correct?
No, we were starting with this to see how it would go and see what our options are, what our feedback was, all that good stuff, and then would revisit it from there.
Okay.
Okay. Any other? Yes, I will sign my name.
So Ashley, if I heard you right, if your fence line was 75 feet away from your house, you're only asking to clear 25 feet of the neighbors to get to 100 feet for your protection?
Yes, sir.
Or if it was my house?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not clearing the whole lot for them?
No, it's not making them responsible to clear the whole lot. It is only to further protect their own home.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen?
I just have a couple comments.
Sure.
I was at all of the ad hoc committees. I understand some members of the public's concern, but I don't think we fully recognize what we're asking for. We're asking for the county to generate a policing force to go police all of this. And then once we put teeth to it and we find somebody, those people all legally, they have the legal right to due process. So what we're asking for is a pretty extensive staff cost to us, and there are other issues. Some of the complaints, I mean, there was one person who owns hundreds of acres and a subdivision was built alongside of his property, and now he's got 60 homes alongside his property, all complaining about his vacant land. We're opening up a huge can of worms if we all of a sudden just decide that we're gonna go start citing everybody who doesn't have a clear vacant lot. And in Amador Pines, are there 100 vacant lots in Amador Pines? And what do you think they would sell for right now? Well, there's a multitude of reasons why they can't sell them, but you're asking, why do these people own these pieces of property if they're not going to do anything with them? Some of them are stuck with them, like hundreds of them. So they don't live anywhere near here. It's a huge can of worms we're opening if we start asking the government to go cite every single person with brush on their property. It's not a simple fix of a fine, in my humble opinion.
Earl, please come to the podium. We're recording the meeting, so we want to get everybody's comments on.
Yes, that's great. I don't want anybody not to hear me.
We don't want it either.
In some counties, one of the things that doesn't seem very offensive is for vacant properties that are adjacent to other properties, that they disc like 30 or 40 feet around them. And that's not a very, it's another, it does cost money, but to do something like that, it would be a reasonable effort in trying to keep stuff from spreading from one property to another if we do get some kind of fire. It's just like we're getting that fuel break on top of Mount Crossman. A small fuel break in a residential neighborhood or adjacent to it could be something. And I just hope that when we look forward to a more enforceable ordinance, that we have many alternatives in the way to provide this reduction in fuel when it's we live up here and we love the trees, but we don't need the brush below them and stuff like that. A canopy fire can even go over a house. It's that stuff that leads right up, and that's why CAL FIRE is saying around your house you need mineral soil for the first 5 feet, and then you need stuff cut back for 30 feet. Well, then they've expanded it to 100 feet. And it just seems like there can be some better way than me having to, after I've done all my property, to go to my neighbor's to clean up his. And I know this applies to vacant lots, but I have 3 lots around me that are not vacant, but they don't get maintained. And we don't even address it because that's CAL FIRE's responsibility. They're not doing it. Maybe we need to have some kind of interaction between the county board and CAL FIRE to see.
CAL FIRE is going around, they've gone through a multitude of our subdivisions already.
Well, they sure missed ours.
Well,
thank you.
I will add to Earl's statement there on CAL FIRE. I've been here for 21 years, and I've never had a CAL FIRE inspection.
some people might be grateful for that.
Sherry Curtis again. I just want to add, which I didn't do before, we're the only county I know of that doesn't have an enforceable fire protection ordinance for vacant lands.
What counties are you looking at? Are they the ones with the $2 billion general funds?
No,
Is that where you're
Merced.
looking? Oh.
I gave 5 examples of similar county sizes to us. Somehow, you guys, they found a way to do it. They have, like what Earl was just talking about in Merced County, it says, no, property owners are required to maintain a 30-foot disc or 50-foot mowed fire break around all property lines and structures per Merced County ordinance. So that's just not a huge county, and it's very like ours.
But you got Merced is not even close to Amador County.
Well, it doesn't matter. Why are we the only county that doesn't have any brains enough to figure out a basic ordinance that will have some minimum requirements for a vacant lot. I'm really struggling to understand why you don't consider this a serious thing, especially since we're in the high fire zone area.
Sherry, I wouldn't say we don't consider it a serious thing. The board has spent countless hours looking at this. I think CAL FIRE could be a little more on it. I think they got, I don't know if it's correct or not, I've been told to have like 30 battalion chiefs in AEU, which is a lot of people when you're talking just battalion chiefs. But as far as the vacant lands, we talked about it in length. And what we looked at too is kind of what Logan said. Somebody has hundreds of acres and they go and build, 60 houses next year vacant land. Does that mean that person has to clear his vacant land because they went and built 60 houses
No,
next to it?
put a fire break around
Maybe
it.
something we should look at going forward is if we're going to okay subdivision, say, hey, you have to have those homes, at least the building envelope far enough back they can get their clear space. This wasn't a problem. A lot of these subdivisions were done years ago. You kind of wonder why they do them back then. It wasn't a problem. I was at a meeting almost 20 years ago, a baby supervisor, and they have a meeting in rural counties, get together and talk about issues. And I brought up fire, and I said, hey, it's an issue. And one day, a fella, nice guy, Nate Beeson, Supervisor Placer, said, hey, Oneto, you forgot to talk about fire. Because I was saying, we're going to have catastrophic fires. They're going to be just like we never seen. And they're like, oh, no, we get fires, but, it's not a great big deal. I give you 5 minutes, I'll talk about fire. I don't have to talk about it anymore. Everybody's talking about it. It's on us. But it's a huge problem. And I think one thing this board's looked at, since people have vacant land, where do people want to build when they build, say they have a 5-acre lot or a 1-acre lot, and you got 500 acres next year or 100 acres. They want to build right on the property line of that 100 to 500 acres, because then they have that scenic vista and they have all that open space. So I understand what you're saying. This is trying to say people that went and built on that right next to their vacant parcel because they want that open space. Here's a way to try to help them get permission to get the defensible space that they're legally required to have. It's a real conflict. You got a home here. They want their defensible space. You have open land where they're kind of saying, hey, they built right next to my property. I shouldn't have to pay to give them their defensible space.
Understand that our cities in Amador County have ordinances that say budding doing just that, to have a fire break around the properties. So our cities are doing it within Amador County, and yet we aren't doing
That's
it.
an incorporated city.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And
people
so
who choose to live outside
that's
of
for
cities
their
for the
people
reasons
who
just like that.
build a house next to a ranch or a vineyard or something. They ask them to put a disc around the property, not clear the whole property.
I'd be willing to pass an ordinance where you could disc around the edge of your property in Amador Pines. I'd like to see a disc. You're talking apples and oranges here. Disking
I know,
around
it
some
depends
grassland
on the
versus
geographical
a
area.
several $100,000 clearing
Right.
project to put a defensible.
Yeah.
It's apples and oranges.
I understand, but there is ways, we have in our area ability to do that. There's enough space to do that. The whole point is you're not getting it at all. It's some properties have cleaned up and worked hard, done everything they can, plus the insurance applications of new regulations from them. And then there's a property that does nothing.
And that's
And
a
you're
deal.
not, you're allowing that. And
That's
that's
where-
what's wrong.
Allowing
That's where CAL FIRE,
Yeah.
property.
Sherry, that's CAL FIRE's mission, and they have a lot of people there. That is where CAL FIRE should be doing their job.
Well, why isn't
They get
Amador
funding-
County doing their job? I don't understand.
Well,
I'm
I'll
really
tell you why,
struggling
Sherry.
that you have the authority to do it over a vacant lot. Or I'm not saying you have a 20,000 acre ranch you have to clean up. I'm saying around the edges. Thank you.
All right. So,
Thank you, sir. Oh,
hello.
Hi, Michelle Gallagher, Code Enforcement. I wanted to let the public know that actually Code Enforcement has a vacant lot ordinance. So if they are in a subdivision, less than 10 acres, and it's a vacant parcel, you can give me a call.
You there? Supervisor Brown?
thank you. Oh,
I'm sorry, I ignored you.
No, you didn't ignore me. I was hesitant, Kayla Dale, Amador Fire PIO. I was hesitant to say anything more because I know you guys are talking specific to vacant lots. But since Michelle mentioned that, I just wanted to add on to that. Amador Fire is working with the Fire Safe Council to roll out a program, and I'm trying to get the dates. We're supposed to be March. I think it's going to be May now, to do cleanup for that first 30 feet of parcels for people that are low income, disabled, veterans, or have disabilities. And we are in control of that program with the Fire Safe Council, picking 150 parcels, going out and actually vetting them, boots on the ground, to try to get those people some help. So the Fire Safe Council is doing that funding. We're the people kind of putting eyes on it to see who qualifies for that program. I know that's different than the vacant lot issue we're talking about today, but that is something that's rolling out right now to try to help some of the parcels with structures on them. And I just wanted to add that too.
well, I thank you.
Supervisor Brown, you, anything else?
I'm good.
I got one more thing to say, and I'm done. Sherry's saying we should do CAL FIRE's job, basically what I heard, but also, conversely, should we be out paving the state highways? Should we be building aircraft carriers for national defense? There's certain jobs that are done by certain entities. And I think the inspections that's a CAL FIRE duty on houses. So.
And when we were discussing this near the end, we had talked about that peer pressure is a powerful tool. If you remember, we talked about that. I don't think the group here has much faith in the goodwill letter. But if one or two get out going, and then, well, that wasn't that bad, and the neighbors talk as they do. So I think we need to at least give it a chance, and there's ways we can go forward. But right now, they don't seem to have much faith in their neighbors, at least from what I hear today. But Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, Randy Roberts. I think that's kind of an unfair argument. I don't think Sherry was really suggesting you go off and do their job. I think she's looking at you as a group that has some influence over CAL FIRE where we don't. And we're looking for somebody to stand up after this meeting or during this meeting and say, yeah, we'll talk to CAL FIRE and we will invite them into a meeting. We will do whatever we can with whatever influence we have as a representative of this county to do something to help ourselves as citizens of this county. I think that's the important point here. And then I also think I heard the group say, it's too big a piece to bite off. Well, I think if we stand back and go, I can't fix this and this and this and this and this because we have certain budget, but can I do a letter? Can I at least have a small, I think we had a presentation last night where there was a group that came in that was community services. What was the lady's title?
Public health.
Public health, who said, we have 20 employees. I guess they probably get a flow down from the state for a certain amount of budget, but they had 20 employees in public health. If we had 20 people going off and going to the high fire areas first, which again, I haven't seen anybody in 15 years probably. Apparently my neighbors haven't seen anybody longer because I guess I'm as interested in areas that have houses because 2 of the 4 neighbors I have haven't touched their lots in my memory. And one of them said to me, well, I don't care if it burns down, I'll collect my insurance, which he and I had a bit of a discussion about that. He's not poor, he's not gonna get his property taken care of by going to this group, which I really appreciate hearing that there is something. At least that'll help those that can't help themselves. But there's got to be a way to take a small bite initially and at least go after maybe areas with houses, maybe going off to the high-risk areas with our fire folks and writing a letter that doesn't threaten maybe, but at least says you're in violation of some words that sound official, of general tenets of the county or fire or whatever. I'm sure we could come up with some words like that. There's got to be some way at least to start escalating a little bit and at least hitting regionally some areas that need some attention. And I guess I heard that some areas have been evaluated. I'm surprised it hasn't been our high-risk area for so long. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Supervisors? If not, we're back to Ruben.
I don't mind reaching out to CAL FIRE again. I think we've already done that before, multiple times, but we can do that again. I don't have a problem doing that.
I just think there's two types of societies that you can live in. You can live in an overly oppressive governed one, or you can live in one where you depend on your neighbors. I think history has proven we can't legislate integrity. When we have code enforcement rules, is there a piece of garbage on a piece of property, Michelle, anywhere? Or do you have every property cleaned up thus far with code enforcement? Like, we can't, like, I've had a business for 30 years in this state, and there's 8 million rules, and every time I turn around, there's 8 million more. Like, at some point, we have to take personal responsibility. The point of this letter was, or this good neighbor was, if you are sitting there and you're deeply concerned about fire, you get to get your 100 feet, and it's just a way. Back in the day, we'd bake cookies, and you'd go talk to your neighbor. We can't make a rule that's going to fix every single piece of vacant land, but we can make it a more oppressive place to live. Sorry, it's making me sad.
Okay, I think we're no more comments without coming to the podium. Okay, we've got an item here we need to vote on, passing this resolution. We've waived the reading, it's here for ordinance. We need a motion.
Everybody looking at me. I'll make a motion. What do we, that we pass the good neighbor ordinance? Is that what we're doing?
6B, it's got a number.
6B.
I'll second.
All right, we had a motion by Supervisor Logan, a second by Supervisor Oneto to pass the ordinance, the good neighbor ordinance. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0-1. But thank you all for your input. That was enlightening. Now we go to 4B. We're staying up country. Discussion and possible action relative to a request from Supervisor Brown for the county to open and operate a green waste collection for several weeks at Pioneer Park. The dates have been determined now. It's estimated the funding in the amount of $100,000 up to would be needed to accomplish this.
So to follow along with that, Michelle has gotten a grant from Amador RCD to start this program out, and so she's doing it on a few Fridays and a Saturday. Last time I did this was after the 2022 snowfall, and we hauled out of the lower ball field 850 tons of material, which of course 80% of that was paid for by FEMA. We have turned in all our paperwork for OES. I don't know if we're going to get anything from the state, so state or feds, so that's something. So this fund, I'm requesting this out of our contingency. We have Michelle to control the project. At least she's volunteered so far to do that. I don't know if she, after Friday, she'll still want to be volunteering. We're going to see about that. Please be kind to her. She's also requested volunteers to help with going out to seniors and certain people that she's evaluating to give assistance to. And That's all volunteer work that's working on it. And let's see, Republic has donated 5 40-yard bins for the first amount that we're chipping into by CAL FIRE Pine Grove Camp. And then I just also got an email from BLM where we're not allowed to burn on the baseball field or any BLM property. So that's part of our contract with BLM, which we're not allowed to burn on there. So that's where we're at. So I'm hoping to get this funding. I understand we are in a deficit for next year of $3 million at this time. And so it's kind of the head and the heart decision here.
I left out the last sentence. The funding will come from contingency.
Contingency. I thought I said that.
Take it out, it's hard to put it back. But I also heard that that you had the trucking handle, like up to $30,000 worth.
Well, the Republic is giving us 5-yard bins. They're the ones.
5-yard bins or
40-yard bins. 5 40-yard bins we're starting with.
Yeah, because 5 yards is.
Yeah. Yeah. And CAL FIRE, Pine Grove Camp are going out there to do evaluation tomorrow, and then chipping all that material into the bins directly. Because if we were putting that stuff with branches in the bins, we would be there for years.
And how much money was received from the RCD? Is it 20,000?
20,000.
And if that hauling in now is worth 30, then we really only need 50 out of contingency.
The 30.
That, I heard that the trucking and the chipping and that was gonna be 30,000.
Yeah, I don't.
No,
Michelle, did you have any more cost estimates?
As far as Republic
Yeah.
goes, so each dumpster, when they deliver it and take it, will be $250, and then it's $25 a ton. So it's just obviously a matter of how much we're going to collect is what it's going to cost.
Just 25 a ton?
Yes.
You know, a question I'd have is what about, I mean, I have some heartburn over things, but is it possible you find a piece of private ground that could take it and maybe burn it? A lot cheaper?
I have a suggestion about that at some point.
I just don't have any right now. PG&E has refused. Of course, now you're through the BLM, because I was looking at across the street on their now masticated property.
My concern about this amount of money is, well, okay, so in 1979, I remember adjusting the rabbit ears on the TV, and I was the remote control for our 3 channels. And we checked the weather, and there was a big storm. I think it snowed 5 feet. But because we knew the storm was coming, everybody had candles, we had all of our provisions, we were ready. Everybody had a pickup, everybody had a chainsaw. There was this personal responsibility to live in the mountains, and I've been up in the fray of that storm every single day since it happened, and a majority up there is no longer ready to handle this. I think this is going to be the future. It's going to be every year. And I think, what was the quote? Don't let a good don't let a good anyway. Don't let a bad thing. Anyway, I think we need to use this as an opportunity because we're going to have to every year deal with green waste. There was one household I went to, they're like late 30s, Amador graduate, and he had his teenage kids out. Their entire property was clean and cleared and burned, and they were moving to their neighbors. They were getting all of their neighbors done. But there's a lot up there that don't, have 2-wheel drives, and we just recently took ownership of Molly Joyce. There's 28 acres on the south side of the highway. I know there's plans to make some hiking trails, but we might have the piece of land to fix this. An AFPD, they left. I'd say one big hot burn pile a year is a lot less air pollution than diesel trucks hauling 40 yards at a time, all of this brush. I think we could use this as an opportunity to create a long-term solution that's far more cost-effective.
I would have to agree with what you're saying, because it's one thing to put it somewhere, maybe burn it. But when you start talking about, I mean, if I was a Republic, I'd be going, oh, baby, this looks pretty sweet to me.
Yeah, first 5 free.
Yeah, I don't see putting it in dumpsters, hauling it down there. I mean, is there a problem up there? It'd be nice to have some way to address that. Yes, it would. Do I foresee, like Logan was saying, going in the future, you know, I'm not in the whole climate change thing, but does it make good sense to be wearing out our roads, burning diesel fuel, hauling these things in dumpsters? No, I don't see that at all.
As a long-term solution.
Yeah, that doesn't fly.
I was thinking too, Molly Joyce has to be used for recreation. And I was thinking about my recreation growing up. It was raking and burning and splitting and stacking and hauling and planting daffodils. And yeah, that was my recreation. So we could use this as an opportunity to show some of our mountain kids mountain recreation, so that we can sort of undo the tide that we have now come into, which is we're not prepared to live through storms anymore.
You know, one thing that could help possibly long-term, we'll see if it flies, is there's a biomass plant down there, and it's kind of similar to when we used to have a particle board plant. You could take junk logs in that particle board plant, and I think they'd pay, I want to say $25 a ton. So it wasn't much money, but it kind of pay your cost to get it there, and things. You can clean up your property and get rid of this garbage wood. And if the biomass plant gets going, it might be a way to lessen that cost a lot. It's not too far. They want wood chips. They want wood waste. Will that help us right now? No. But maybe in the future, you're talking about that long-term thing, that might be something that'd work. I'm having a little heartburn over $100,000 just because I was talking to a person the other day about it, and he said, well, hey, he says, you know, I'm out burning my place, and he said, I'm burning the green pine, and I'm burning the green cedar. Don't tell the air board this. As long as you get a little bit of the dry wood and just feed the fire, it burns fine. These may be small parcels, it could be an issue. But, you know, parcel any size, he says, yeah, he said, I got my place pretty well cleaned up. And he's just out burning it.
I have some hands raised. You want to hear the public
Yeah.
comment? Mark, you were first.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hope I can help you out a little bit. Hopefully I can help you out a little bit. I just turned in all my paperwork for an upcountry green waste there at Red Corral. We've got quite a few acres up there. I'm coming up with a plan now to give to you guys, but I've already talked to Rob Winthrow, since you're bringing up burning, about trying to find a burn box. We could put a burn box up there on my property. I used to run one when I worked for CAL FIRE. But to me, the seniors and the military should get a heck of a discount. What I'm proposing to you guys is my place would be at least 30% cheaper in the fees that you're paying now. I mean, my overhead is low. I've got a lot of storage up where I am, where I could store all kinds of wood. Brian brings up that there's a green waste. Okay, if it's up there, if we don't burn it, then we can ship it and take it to green waste. You know, I'm just trying to look for a better way, and I talked to Jeff yesterday for a minute, and I'm just trying to give you guys another option to think about.
Yeah.
We're just waiting on approval on everything now.
Any idea what you're looking at time frame approval?
The approval, and it's to the county now with all the permits and everything's been paid. So it's up to the review process. As soon as that gets done, if you guys want to do a special assessment of some sort, I mean, I could do it April 1st, have the gates open. But I mean, there's enough storage for easily the next few years. There's quite a few acres.
Because I guess one thing I'd look at, I mean, the foresters, and I don't think SPI is burned anymore just because of liability possibly, but the foresters and SPI, they burnt some monster piles for years.
No, SPI, you cannot burn on SPI now.
That's what I said. I think they may have stopped just for liability, but I know foresters burn, I mean, if a person wanted to, I don't see why you couldn't burn a big pile. I mean, it's one thing to haul it there, drop it off and burn it. It's pretty cheap. When you say haul it somewhere and then put it in dumpsters or grind it and haul it off, if you don't have a market for that stuff somewhere, it gets super expensive. And that's where I'm having a little bit of a heartburn, over the 100,000. Or maybe, maybe a clarification. Are you asking for 100,000 total, or are you asking for the 20,000 you get from RCD plus 100,000?
That is up to the board. I was just this was kind of, when I first started this was just off of what we did last time. And I had to close the gate at a certain point because I couldn't accept any more waste because I filled up that ball field. So that's where we were stuck at that point. With Michelle getting ahead of the game and trying to get rid of the material as we collect it so it wouldn't be stored up. Because that was one of the other problems. The neighbors had a problem with the lower ball field, is we had that material as we're going through the contracting situation, as we're going through all that process. So honestly, I just threw a number out there close to what we dealt with last time.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, now we have a possible private land. I would be very much in favor of.
Yeah. And there are people in the business of doing that, so might help the economy instead of hurting the contingency.
I agree, because we had the tree that fell at the ball field and at the dog park, also a tree fell that facilities have been working on. It cost them $1,600 to get rid of it at Republic Transfer Station.
I just wanted to make a comment about the Molly Joyce Park thing. When I worked in Alpine County, our offices were by Turtle Rock Park, and they had a burn pile there.
Yes, they do.
And it didn't take up the whole park. It took up just a small place, and some people dump trash. There's always going to be that happen. But most people brought their tree trimmings and stuff there, and they sat there until they were dry enough, and then the county crew burned them. It worked great.
Do you know who guarded that?
No, I'm not.
Nick Hartzell's brother.
Oh.
Now Alpine County already has this. They got a big yard. There's a guy that sits with a lawn chair on the days it's open. Everybody brings their green waste, and they pile it up and burn it once a year. It's on county property. It doesn't cost anybody a penny.
So that would be nice if we could do that and not offend anybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Turtle Rock's not there anymore.
The whole park?
It's all burned down. Not from that.
Oh, I was going to say, maybe they didn't work out as good as we thought.
Tamarack fire.
Oh, God, you're killing me.
Any other public comment? Any Zoomers?
Not at this time.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Maybe if we have, Michelle has this program she's doing for the next couple of Fridays, but maybe if we have Glenn work with Mark, that we could possibly see what we can do on that. Maybe a different cost, actually figure out a better and different cost in this.
Lower.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, if Mark can run it as a business, the county won't, maybe we can put a little seed money to that to get it started for a public benefit.
Yeah.
And then he just charges $10 per load or whatever. Because that's what we kind of talked about yesterday. It's just he said discounts for everybody else, but for the normal operation, you charge us in a minimal amount that he would need to keep something going.
Sure.
I like that a whole lot better.
Yeah. I've always thought independent business can do a better job than the government.
I never disagreed with you.
All right.
I've been scrapping the sheriff and the DA for road money, and I'd rather not be scrapping with you for road money.
But he will.
if I have to.
Yes, ma'am. You got some more for us?
Yeah, I was gonna just say, I mean, I know that's a high amount of money, but at least for temporarily for just this event, maybe a certain amount, so that way it's a little easier, because I'm assuming 20,000 is probably gonna go pretty quick, so I'd like to get as close to the 4 days as possible without cutting it off early. So maybe something that could at least get this started, so it's a little bit higher. So we could continue at least for this
Another
Green
20?
Waste event.
You think another 20 would do the 4 days?
I'd say it'd be nice to at least get 30, to make it a 50,000 at least. So I got the 20 and the 50. Because Republic is giving us a really good discount than they would for the public. And then I got them to cover the cost of what CAL FIRE would have been for us to do it. That's why we're getting the extra dumpsters.
Is the camp like $450 a day or something like that?
No, I think it was more than that. I think it was $490 or something.
Yeah,
like that was
roughly,
supposed to-
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this is just in case if they don't get the stuff done in time, we may need them, additional days to help with the rest of the disposal of it. But I want to be able to have that nice larger number, so it makes it a little easier to keep it open longer.
I've got a question. Is there any reason you couldn't just dump it in a field somewhere as a soil amendment?
You're meaning the
chips,
the mulching of it? Yeah. Well, I mean, that is an option. It would stay there on the field, and then we would have to figure out what you would want to do with it.
Because you're talking in the 4 days, how many dumpsters, how many days you done so far?
We haven't
done any
accepted
days.
yet.
This Friday is the first day.
Oh, okay, I thought you said you'd done some already. I mean, you're talking like, if you're talking dumpsters, like 5 40-yard dumpsters, that's not much, so it's got to be a lot more than that.
Usually when I do a normal green cleanup, I could fill, I'll usually fill 4 to 5 dumpsters, but that's normal. That's not mulching it into the container. So obviously I'm going to get a lot more in with mulching it.
And Republic's charge you $25 a ton?
Correct.
And a dumpster, you're probably getting, 10, 15 tons?
Well, if you're getting charged by weight, chipping it or not chipping it's
Yeah, I know, it's going to add weight to it, yes.
No, it's
But it's
well, it's the
also going to
same
offset
weight.
the cost of going $250 per dumpster. It also offset the cost of that, because that means we get more into the bin without having to pay for the transporting of it.
this money's to haul away chips? Or are we shoving this?
No, we're doing stumps as well, but whatever can get chipped, if it can't get chipped, it's going to go into a dumpster.
Don't say stumps, logs.
Oh, logs, sorry.
We should be piling those chips. We could take a loader over there and spread them around the park there's paying millions of dollars to haul chips away is.
Well, we plan to do some at the dog park with that already, because it needs it.
Stage it for an indefinite dog park refurbishing.
Well, the one thing is you can't stack it too deep or it will catch on fire.
Well, we'll make a couple piles.
A 40-yard bin is a pile.
You already have, 4 days you've advertised already?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And it obviously is it's first come, first serve, as we stated, so when the money reaches it, I have it set up already that we've been announcing that they need to call my number, because after every day, I'm gonna say, yes, the next day is going, or it's not, that the event's over.
And they're charging you $250 a ton, plus there's a
$250 a
trucking-
container.
What's a container charge?
It's $250 for the transport of the dumpster itself, plus $25 per ton of whatever the weight is.
Because what I was thinking about maybe is, I don't know, I don't want to get accused of collusion or profiting off of whatever, but if you want dumped it in ranch land, as long as not a bunch of garbage in it, I mean, put it there, let it go in the soil and rot. And maybe you could do more chipping that way. But I don't know if there's any ranchers that say, hey, or landowners say, dump it in my ground.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here, because we don't have other options right now to put stuff at.
Well, we've got, Mr. Sherrill has got a viable option for long term, so really we need to focus on what we're gonna do the short term.
Right.
We've advertised for 4 days.
Yes.
Sound like if we gave her another 30, she could get those 4 days done.
It took me 3 weeks, because I had one rainy week last time, to fill up the whole park, and that's how we got the 850 tons of ground-up material last time.
So 21 days to 4 days, yeah.
So,
Yes.
Mark, you said you're ready to roll like April 1st, so we have less than 3 weeks that we're talking about here?
I need you to come forward to the microphone, sorry.
I've been working on this for years, building the road up into it, a flat spot up on top to dump the material. I've got the equipment up there, we can dump it right now, and I can maintain it. I figured April 1st, by the time I get my employee or somebody to watch the gate. I need somebody there all the time, because I can take green waste, I can take logs, and the logs, anything good, I would talk to Wood Angel, see if they would want the oak or anything to process it up there. You know, it's more for the community right now. Senior people, low income, I can talk to the board and work something out on that. I mean, yeah, I gotta make something out of this, but it's gonna be quite a bit less than where you're going now. The first of the month, I'm sure I could have my ducks in a row to pay for the employees to, I'm looking into workman's comp, and haven't had to do with that since I worked for CAL FIRE, and
Well, that's another one of those state regulations.
that's exactly. Yeah, but there's plenty of storage. I mean, everything you guys are talking about, we can dump it all up there.
Hey, wait, one more question. You already have, so you're full on this green waste day. Can we do a green waste day right in there, right along the highway there, right in the front?
That's to me where I was gonna have the office, so we have seniors where there's only got a little bit of green waste.
I mean, just in this storm.
Yeah.
Because then we could chip it right there, and you wouldn't mind the chips there, would you?
100 yards up the hill, it's clear, so we don't have to worry about it, nobody sees it. You go through that gate right there,
Mm-hmm.
that's where it's gonna
You
be
just-
anyway, and it
you
just
just put
out of
some
sight,
of our-
out of mind.
You just put some ground-up Ridge Road up on your
It's
path.
all ground and hard weather.
Yeah.
All
I'm
the way
just
up
thinking of a
top
place
there.
where we can just point the chipper chute over into a pile, and then it can sit there until the cows come home.
Small amounts of it, but I mean, preferably up on top, and we'd have a place forever.
Okay.
If you go 200 yards up the hill,
Mm-hmm.
it's wide open up there.
All right. Gentlemen, what do you want?
Well, I guess I have, getting back that question of mine, so if you had a rancher said, hey, you can dump the chips out here, long as the county spreads them, you know,
Yeah, we're looking at the short-term solution. We've advertised 4 days.
that could be a short-term solution. It's gonna be,
Still hauling
we call it, putting in, composting for soil regeneration.
When's
So
the
you're
first
still
day?
hauling it, yeah.
Still hauling it.
You're still hauling it.
Hauling's the,
You're not paying the dump fees though, which is probably half the battle.
we can't haul their dumpsters.
Yeah.
They're hauling their dumpsters.
No, I understand, that's $250 a pop. But then you're also paying the tonnage, which is $25 a ton, so that's probably $250, $300 a pop. So it'd be, probably reduce the cost like probably half.
I get that. But isn't the first one this weekend?
This Friday, yes.
Are we that short-term? Probably not.
You might find some, I mean, I'm thinking about it. Might be a way to save some money, make the program go farther, but I don't want to get beat up in the process.
Yeah. No good deed goes unpunished.
That's true. So now the question, I guess, is whether if we're going to put more money towards it, basically.
Right.
And if so, how much?
You're saying it takes $30,000 to honor the promises we've already made. And that will give us the time to come up with solutions that are more cost-effective.
I'm not going to guarantee it. What I'm saying is that if we had a higher
less.
amount, then that means it's less likely for us to close early. We may not even use all of that. We may meet that max. It's just having that. So as I'm communicating with Republic, they can let me know this is how much you spent so far, and then I know whether I can keep continuing it. Like I said, he had it open for 3 weeks. We have it open for 4 days. So I just want to be able to make sure that we don't turn anybody away that does all that effort to get to us, and then we're going to tell them no. So this is just a cover. I'm assuming that, yes, it would be under that. I don't even think we'll meet that, but just to have that would be good to be able to say, yes, we can do all 4 days.
Then we, in that time, for those 4 days, we explore all of the
But
other
that's,
options.
it's actually 4 weeks, you know, the 4 days, but it'll take 4 weeks to get
Yeah,
done.
it's over a 4-week period because I feel like said people get tired. They got a lot of work to do. That's why we're giving it a week between each so people can collect their items and be able to bring them.
And we're allowing commercial businesses to bring their,
No businesses are allowed.
I think we should change that.
They're
Not,
doing a lot
most
of
those
legwork.
people up there can't load that stuff into their Priuses. Like, they're gonna have to pay somebody to haul it somewhere, and if their neighbor's getting it dumped for free, they should get it dumped for free.
Well, if we allow businesses, we don't know if they've charged those people that cost to take it somewhere, and now they're getting double dipped. They're being able to get rid of their stuff for free.
Well, I think
Not really our concern.
we'll make it public enough that they're dumping it at that place for free, and
Well, I'd be careful, actually. You might have Mario's or Arborworks. I don't think they would, but that could get real hairy. It's a thought.
think we're gonna have to trust the integrity of our fellow citizen as being good neighbors.
We've been beating our citizens up.
I honestly think that most of the people in those hills are outstanding, amazing people who are trying to do what's best for their neighbor, so we don't have to allow businesses, but most of the people up there aren't hauling that stuff themselves.
That's probably true.
I've been up there every single day. There's very few pickups up there. There's very few trailers. It's a lot of two-wheel drive cars, a lot.
I made a joke last night during my D3CC meeting that county ought to make a requirement that every 5 neighbors, one of them has to own a tractor.
And a wood splitter.
Wood splitter, dump trailer. It just ought to be mandatory to go with, but it's true. Yeah, my poor tractor during this episode, you know, it was just used and abused.
Okay, well, we still have
I guess what Logan's saying is.
short-term solution. We're looking.
Sorry. What
Oh, go
Logan's
ahead.
saying, there's probably some validity to that. A lot of people up there, they're not gonna move themselves. That is true.
Now, Michelle does have volunteers doing some of the work, you know, for the seniors and disabled. And how many volunteers did you got?
I've got 3 businesses so far that are willing to go out. So yeah, if anybody's listening, please give me a call, 209-223-6565.
You mean any
I can put you on the
volunteers?
list. Yeah, I would love more volunteers. I actually got 19 calls this weekend for people who need assistance. So, and I'm sure I'm going to get more. So, yeah, if anybody can volunteer and want to help out, please give me a call. I could put you on the list.
Greg, I got a question for you. For Mark's idea, how can we get away to handle the funding a private business, if you will say?
Well, we'd have to either use like an emergency exception to get around the bidding.
Right.
Or find sole source justification or something else, or get quotes.
Okay.
That'd be the process. And I don't know, I was just curious, do you need like a use permit or? So that may take a little more time than the end of the month. 'Cause
Yeah,
that would have to go to the planning commission. It's got to go through the whole process.
If it's a full-fledged green waste facility, I know, and maybe it's different than Vicini down there off Willow Creek Road. I think it's a composting facility, but what they go through down there is just insane with the state and the regulators. Probably. Pardon? Yeah. Yeah, they're in, I think there's a difference between composting and a green waste, I believe. One is just, when you start composting, yeah, it's nuts.
Like an agency running it.
And one problem I have is we did this once before. It was kind of a little bit spur of the moment, and ended up, it was an issue getting rid of all the green waste up there, and I think it cost, what, $80,000 or something like that, was it?
I think it was about 90,000
Okay.
out the door. I mean, FEMA covered 80% of it,
Yeah,
but this time we're not looking at it.
yeah, so it's kind of like, I hate setting precedences, because once you do them, you're there. Is this storm event rough up a lot of people? Oh, yeah. I mean, the amount of damage up there is mind-blowing. It's just, you go through it, it's like something, every other lot has a garage or house with a tree on top of it, literally. So you're talking,
Well, let's bring it down from the 100 request to what Michelle wants is 30. Give us 4 weeks to see what Mark can do, and then we'll bring it back and see where we need to go.
And I think we should let the commercial guys up their stuff.
Okay.
They're doing the work, which, why not?
I mean, other than if they're doing, I guess, if they're doing utility work,
yeah, now you're talking.
that would be the thing. Is this from a residential area or is this utility work? Any utility works, they've got,
Yeah, single,
They've already got their setup.
yeah, and if they do, then that young lady that came and introduced herself, we'll just call her our government liaison with PG&E.
or another country heard from.
Excuse me, sorry to butt in. Agriculture commissioner, but I also live in the neighboring county. And what they do is they say local residents or work orders when I dump off my green waste at the transfer station. So if they have a work order from a local resident, it's the local residents' green waste that they're disposing of. That's how they deal with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we may want to do, because again, I have to collect information. So if
Yeah, if you had
a company comes, then it's not, yeah, I'm not going to get exactly what I'm required for this grant, because I'm supposed to get people's names, address, the amount that was taken, the amount of time it took. There's info that they need. So if you're wanting to do that, then,
Just give the address of the piece of property.
well, I would prefer that they do have something signed by the owner that says it. So again, it is verifying that they did not pay for a disposal fee, to be fair, because this is a way for companies to take advantage of people to say, yeah, I'll take your stuff, and then they're just going to wait for the events and then take everything there. So I would prefer to have some sort of documentation from the owner saying that this is, yes, they've taken it, and that way I'm also collecting the info that's necessary for the grant. Because they may go to several places, possibly, so I need to make sure I get that stats. That's what's required. So we can do businesses, I'm just requiring that they provide some documentation to do so.
Giving them a lot of
Hard.
time.
And
It could be
most
more, yeah.
businesses will want to do a round robin anyway. They don't want to be waiting for their Friday with the load sitting in there. So I don't see that happening too much.
Short term, let's give it a try.
Right. But I do love the idea of Mark is bringing to us. I will be one of your customers. Just give me a heads up when we get your gate open, because Supervisor Carnell will be taking down a few of my trees.
Curious question. Do you know the amount of tonnage or yardage that was taken off that last event at the ball field?
Yeah, 850 tons.
Are you
I can't
talking
tell you
my
the
event or
conversion
his
to that.
event?
I just, Southwick company, that's how much the their big trucks. I mean, they had quite a few trucks that they hauled out of there.
So that was about basically $100 a ton then, what it works out to.
Well, that was also the chipper. The chipping guy was
Yeah,
also.
no, I understand
involved.
that.
The
Yeah,
whole deal.
yeah. Okay.
Looking for a motion here.
Pardon?
Yeah,
Oh,
we get,
yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. You want to make?
So I will make a motion, instead of the $100,000, we only do $30,000 to make sure we keep this program open for the 4 days. And if she still has funding to open up a couple more days with using a total of 50, 20 of it from grant and 30 from the contingency funds.
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. We had a motion by Supervisor Brown and a second by Supervisor Logan for funding for the short term in the matter of $30,000 to match the 20 on the grant, total of 50 to hope to do 4 days. If there's money left over, to monitor that in days on.
Got it.
Does that
Yes.
summarize? Okay, we'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 401. Thank you.
Begrudgingly.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah,
I will say, Michelle, I won't be able to attend on Friday. So, okay.
Anybody need a break? You want to go to the public hearings first? Then we'll take a break. Whatever.
I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's keep going. We have a couple of public hearings, and the people are here, so find the right. Okay, we're moving on to 5A, which is a Community Facilities District 2006-1, Annexation Number 16, public hearing to consider, one, adoption of a resolution determining to submit question of annexation territory to Community Service District 2006-1, Fire Protection Services, County of Amador, State of California, to the landowners in the territory proposed for Amador, State of California, to the landowners in the territory proposed for annexation, and two, adoption of a resolution declaring the results of the special election to annex certain territory to Community Facilities District 2006-1, Fire Protection Services, County of Amador, State of California, annexation number 16. The action is the pleasure of the board, and with that, I'll open the public hearing. Who's the presenter? Here she comes.
I must say, every time I see one of these, I feel kind of like being in Russia, but I guess it is what it is.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Lynn Gruber, Koppel and Gruber Public Finance, the special tax consultant for the county fire district on this CFD. This is annexation number 16 to the fire services CFD. And it proposes to annex 3 properties, property owners into the CFD. It's the time and place, as you've said, Chairman, for the public hearing, and then hopefully the election of the property owners. With that, I'll take any questions.
The election of the property owners,
Correct.
does that happen after we close the public hearing?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And you have the ballots?
The clerk has the ballots.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so any public comment? Anything on Zoom?
No, not at this time.
Supervisors? All right, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner, or Supervisor Carnell, a second by Supervisor Brown to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 401. Okay, now we have the results of the election.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All the ballots have been received and the election is now closed. If you will allow me a moment to tally all the ballots.
Sure.
Please, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A total of 3 ballots were received that are relative to the 5 parcels that are in your packet, and the total numbers of votes in the affirmative were 297. There are no negative votes. All were yes.
All right. Thank you very much. So we need 2 motions, one on one to annex and one on the results of the election. 2 separate motions. We can't do it in one. Two to be safe?
Probably.
Okay. All right. We close the public hearing. It's back to the board. We have,
I'd make a motion, adopting resolution determining submitting the question of annexation to CFD, Amador Fire Protection Services. And this would be annexation number 16.
I'll second.
right. We had a motion by Supervisor Oneto and a second by Supervisor Brown to vote to approve annexation number 16. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 401. Now we had an election, now we do adopt a resolution certifying the results of annexation number 16.
And I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution declaring the results of the special election to annex certain territories into the Community Facilities District.
Second.
All right, we had a motion by Supervisor Brown, a second by Supervisor Oneto to accept the results of the special election on annexation number 16. To approve that, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 401. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, thank you. And 5B is a surveying department, public hearing for a public easement, abandonment, and certificate of merger for Kevin Stott. Properties are in Comanche subdivision, map, I'm looking for a number. The numbers are 003-221-008 and 003-221-010. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Steve?
Morning.
Good morning.
Steve Zanetta, County Surveyor. Yeah, this is a merger of a previous merger, I think happened about a year ago. The owner has now purchased an adjoining lot and wants to merge that in with the previous merger. We've sent out notices. There's no problem with any of the utilities or departments. Haven't heard from any of the neighbors, so we assume everything is good to go with the merger. There is also an easement along the common line between the previous merger and the new lot, and that easement needs to be abandoned. None of the utilities have responded with any facilities within the easement.
So we assume there aren't any then. Okay. Any questions from the supervisors? Any comments from the public? Any Zoomers?
Not at this time.
Seeing none, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right, we had a motion by Supervisor Brown, a second by Supervisor Cornell to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 401. So now we're looking for approval of it.
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution okaying the merger.
Thank you.
Second?
All right. We had a motion by Supervisor Oneto and a second by Supervisor Brown to accept the easement abandonment and certificate of merger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 401. With that, let's take a 10-minute break and we'll come back at 11 o'clock. Meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We're back to our regular agenda. Item 4C is the General Services Administration. Adoption of new park use fees and park use application material. There were materials. Exactions, suggested actions, approve the fees, the use permit, and the handbook, and require insurance. Glenn is here.
Yes, GSA Director Glenn Spitzer. Good morning, still. Good morning.
We got a long time.
Yeah. So, yeah, this item, we're just introducing the Park and Rec handbook and the application, going over the fees. We'll come back with an ordinance to adopt the fees, probably at the end of this month. A little background first. So ACRA, Amador County Recreation Agency, dissolved this year. And so the county took over management of the parks. We've got 4 parks that we're managing right now, two big ones, Molly Joyce and Pioneer Park. We're also managing Fiddletown Park and Lions Park. And come probably June, we're going to we may take on Pine Grove Park as well. So we need a permitting process, and we created this handbook that's a one-stop shop, I guess, one place where we've got all the rules, everything that it just lays out for the public and also for staff. So just wanted to go over that handbook with you first. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. There's front page is this logo here. Little story behind it real quick. So there's Garrett Linker, our new admin staff at GSA, done a great job. I asked him if we could put a logo together. He said he knew somebody. So I said, okay, well, if they don't charge much or nothing, hopefully, that we can hire them and make this happen. And then he got back to me, said it cost about $6,500. So he plugged it through AI and generated this for free. And it's, I think, a really nice logo. It's got the gold, it's got somebody gold mining, panning for gold. You got the foothills with the snow caps. It's just kind of a beautiful logo. So that was step one. So it starts with the mission statement. And mission statement, our main mission with the new Park and Rec Department is to provide safe, welcoming, well-managed parks, to maximize recreation opportunities, and to provide a simple, streamlined permitting process. Then it goes into the introduction, which is just the basics, when a permit's required, how to get the forms, where to submit them. And then it goes into a description of the 4 county parks, soon to be 5. And basically the location, the size of the parks, the basic amenities at the parks that you can reserve through a permitting process. And then it goes into the city and community district parks. The city parks and the community district parks. And there are a lot of those. And we just wanted members of the public to have one place where they can see all the parks within the county. So again, location of those parks, the size of those parks, and also the contact information so that the public knows where to get a permit to use those parks, because the county doesn't manage the city parks or the district parks. And then it goes into the park rules. So the rules that we have here, we kept it simple. We didn't want to be too over the top, too burdensome. We wanted to have some rules that we can point to and say, hey, no, that's not allowed, it is allowed. For example, with marijuana use, we said no marijuana use in any of the parks. Tobacco use is allowed outside of the facilities, and then just some other basic rules about parking and hours of operation, alcohol use, food sales, which is allowed with a permit. And then it goes into the basic permits, and there are 2 basic permits. The first is called the the basic permit. It's just a reservation of a space at a park. And it's what we call a ministerial permit. So long as you fill out the application, you provide the fee, and you provide the insurance, which is another issue we'll talk about, then you get the permit. There's no discretion involved. And then the second category of permits, those are the discretionary permits. And discretion is triggered by events where you anticipate 100 or more people, or there's going to be alcohol use or sales, or food sales, or amplified music. And then GSA will have discretion to restrict, condition the permit, or potentially deny it. And we'll be doing that with input from the sheriff's office and other affected departments. For example, food sales, we want to run that by environmental health for health safety. And we'll get to it, but there's an appeal process. So if a member of the public's not happy with the decision from GSA, they can appeal it to the board. We set forth the basic standards, what our expectations in terms of cleanup, et cetera, after your event. There's a fee waiver process. So if a nonprofit has an event that benefits the public, they can present that to the board and request a fee waiver. There's an insurance explanation in here, which I'll go in more depth in a minute. There's a refund policy. There's guidance for staff on how to process these permits so that in the event of turnover, nobody has any questions about how these permits operate and get processed. So it's clear to the public and to staff. And then there's the fees that are set forth in here too. So I don't know if everyone's had a chance to review the fees. Because those are the fees that we'll be taking back before the board probably as soon as the 24th of this month with an ordinance. So that's the handbook. And let's discuss the insurance issue right now. So we brought this before the Park and Rec Committee and went over everything. And the main issue of discussion was over insurance. And that's because when the permits were issued through ACRA, the cost was generally right around $25, $35, right in that ballpark for your event. And they were relying, I believe, on their insurance. The county's insurance is a little different. We've got a $100,000 deductible. So I think we mentioned 25, but it's a $100,000 deductible. And that also includes defense. So when a claim is filed against the county, claim in general, in the private world, when insurance is triggered, the most valuable thing about insurance is that they cover your defense. Well, with our deductible, the county is paying out of pocket for its own defense too. So we're coming truly out of pocket up to $100,000 per event. So it's pretty significant. So the way we handled that in the handbook was we had a real belts and suspenders approach. We said, insurance, you're getting us insurance on every single permit. And my recommendation is that we definitely require insurance on all the discretionary permits. Those are the permits that have, I think, the most potential liability. So the issue is whether the board wants to take on some of the liability for those ministerial permits. And those would be the small little events, birthday parties. I want to use the tennis court for a couple hours, or I want to have my event at a facility inside. Girl Scouts want to use the Vets Hall, those types of events. And they're typically for simplicity's sake, They're the indoor, which is about an $87 additional insurance cost for the applicant, assuming they go through the county insurance. Or the outdoor would be an additional $128 insurance cost. So that's in addition to the permit application fee, which is $10, and the reservation of the space, which is typically somewhere between $20 and $35 or so. So the insurance cost really takes up these permits quite a bit for the applicant. So for example, an applicant wants to have a tennis game for a couple hours. Now they're paying, I think it's $178 with that $128 insurance cost.
Now, are you just saying like a normal, everyday homeowner wants to go play a game of tennis at the park?
Yeah, exactly. If they want to reserve the space. Otherwise, it's a first come, first served basis.
Okay.
So if a member of the public wants to
I just wanted to
go-
clarify that.
Yeah. And that's what makes this insurance issue so interesting and almost seemingly potentially unfair or unreasonable, because a member of the public could just go there and without any cost whatsoever. The liability to the county is the standard liability. We've got insurance that covers the park, but we cover the first 100,000. But now if they get a permit to reserve that space, we're going to ensure that they have the insurance, et cetera. And
One question, so wouldn't our exposure be the same either way,
no, because if
if they reserve it or not?
if we ask them to get insurance through our insurer, what happens is the insurance company issues a certificate of insurance to the applicant. They're the insured. The applicant is the insured. The applicant, when they apply for a permit, they agree to hold the county harmless and also to defend and indemnify.
No, I
So that insurance covers the county from dollar one. There's somebody defending that claim from dollar one and indemnifying the county up to the insurance limits.
No, I understand that, but I mean, if a person, say, Pat and I want to go down and play a game of tennis, we used to walk on the court and play a game of tennis.
Yeah.
And the county has liability.
Yes.
If Pat and I wanted to reserve that court, it hasn't really changed what we're doing, we're just going to be paying insurance.
Yes. You're paying the insurance. You're also reserving that court, so it's yours exclusively in case there's a conflict, somebody else wants it. So that's the way it's handled here. And that's the discussion for the board, whether the board wants to require insurance for those types of events.
Okay.
See, that's what the problem that I had with it, because I have my meeting like I had last night, and so my meeting would go from $25, which I've been covering on my discretionary fund, to $50 plus $87 to cover insurance, so I have that room reserved. And so that's, it brings it up quite a bit. If I have 10 meetings a year, so and I've had no, insurance, it's just a meeting. So this is a little bit of the controversy we had from our initial committee meeting till here. So this is kind of want some direction from the board of where we should go, because this kind of benefited me, not paying insurance, but it's kind of like, whoa, wait a second. But this is going to affect anybody. It's going to affect the Girl Scouts. It's going to affect.
And I can see that, and people pay taxes for the county to provide services, and then should we pay again? It's kind of like, I can maybe see if people are selling alcohol, which I'd wonder about, I guess, on that, or food, that might be a little bit different. And one question I'd have too is somebody, just switching gears, a rhetorical question kind of is, if somebody has reserved, say, the Fiddletown Park, how much of the park can they reserve? The whole thing? Partial?
Potentially, if they can call us and we can work it out. But otherwise, what they would normally do is they would just reserve specific facilities within the park. And if I look here, Let me see here.
I can maybe see reserving specific facilities, but not the whole park. And the other thing is, what about if somebody comes in and say, somebody's not paying attention, like say Fiddler's Jam, they have the Fiddler's Jam up in a certain date, somebody comes in and reserves that park for those days, and now all of a sudden the county's saying, oh geez, the Fiddler's Jam needs that park to have their event, but,
There's a whole process for reservation on the internet that we got a presentation on. So you couldn't double book. When they go in to reserve it, they'll see that it's already booked.
yeah, but what I'm saying, what about if somebody didn't realize they need to book that oversight? Can the county say, hey, we're to cancel your reservation because we have a Fiddler's Jam coming up, which has been going on for X amount of years, and now you've got the park reserved, so the Fiddler's Jam has a problem, which they should do their homework, but can we cancel reservations?
We do. We have the authority to cancel reservations. I think that's set forth in the handbook.
Yeah,
So,
I was there, I didn't see it.
That's a really extreme, unlikely event, but we do have,
Okay, that's on refund policy then?
yeah.
Okay.
And that we'll try to give as much notice as possible, but there are instances where we may need to cancel. So,
Okay.
So we have that ability. I wanted to note, so of the types of basic permits, the groups that impact this insurance issue, there's the outdoor, which we talked about with the tennis, and then as Supervisor Brown raised, the indoor type events. The indoor events have a lower insurance, typically like the Girl Scouts or so. We looked into this a little bit. A lot of those applicants will have their own insurance, and if they do want annual insurance, it's typically about $500. So there is that.
That's my next question. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
multiple
I
events.
also, there's one other thing I wanted to say too, that if we were to not require insurance for these two categories of events, the outdoor ministerial and the indoor ministerial, what we would want to do, what we would do, is we would, when they're reserving the county harmless and agreeing to defend and indemnify, which isn't obvious, but it's pretty strong, at least against the applicant, because they've agreed to hold the county harmless. And if they've, frankly, if they have assets, they've also agreed to defend and indemnify the county. So there's that. And additionally, with the indoor type events, we can require the applicant to not only check that same box where they agree to defend and indemnify and hold the county harmless, but to bring a sheet where everybody who enters, all the attendees, agree to waive and assume any risk, waive any liability and assume risk. And then we would collect that when we return their deposit, because those type of events would require a $250 deposit. So there are ways to mitigate this liability if the county chooses to forego insurance on these types of events.
But Jeff, you were paying $35 a meeting, but you could do it annually for $500?
Yeah.
Is that correct? To rent the Veterans Hall?
Yes. Well, it would be $500 for the insurance, and then it would be just the application and reservation cost, which is
which is another.
$25, $30.
Okay, all right.
But
got a
at 10 meetings.
Yeah, I know, that's what I was
I
trying.
got a question on your meetings. If you had them here, say in this room, it would be free, right?
Yes.
So you're having them there for the convenience of the voters of your district?
Yes.
And now the county owns that building?
Yes.
Yeah, so
In my humble opinion, that fee should be waived. And if there is a process, people like Girl Scouts we could waive that indefinitely.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts waived indefinitely.
Mhm.
Anything that the board deems, something that's a benefit to the community, we could, instead of waiving it each time, we could waive it indefinitely.
You mean on a per applicant basis?
Yeah.
Or just blanket for those types of events, no insurance requirement?
Well, I'm kind of wondering about the check in the box for everything across the board. Just,
Well, what the strong recommendation I have is that when it comes to discretionary permits, that means the permits with events 100 or more, alcohol use or sales and food sales or amplified music, that those require insurance.
so the regular permits, we could just have everybody check a box.
Yeah, that's an option.
And then they also could appeal that to the board.
I would not allow them to, I would suggest not allowing them to appeal their agreement to hold the county harmless, if that's what you're saying.
No,
Okay,
just,
okay. Because there would be no cost in checking a box for them. So there's nothing to bring to the county to waive.
Well, and I
Except for
envision
the
a
fees.
problem on the outdoors, like the Amador Pickleball Club
Yeah,
meets at 9 o'clock at Dieter Park, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
liability.
And I don't know that the city of Jackson charges them anything. And if a guy who's down there at 8:30 playing and they show up, there's, how do you run him off?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the reasoning behind not charging insurance for these types of
Yeah,
ministerial.
especially if they had to pay insurance.
Yeah. And then they would be discouraged from going through the permitting process. If we don't require insurance, then they're more inclined to reserve it online and go through the permitting process
and check the box.
and check the box.
And you would send them the forms to say, hey, everybody that's in this pickleball thing needs to just sign this form and you're gonna.
Middletown
keep-"
Pickleball Club is coming.
Yeah, that would be a little bit more complicated. I was envisioning,
They do have insurance, and all the members do sign a liability.
yeah.
Oh, good.
And also for like the softball, the more organized events, we usually enter into a contract with them, which serves as their permit, and we require insurance on those types of things.
Yeah, something like that, you should have some type of insurance. I guess the county has it, but you're talking a lot of people, a lot of activity.
Yeah.
I also think that allowing like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, entities like that to check a box and use the facilities without cost, those are the types of entities that might invest volunteer effort into maintaining the parks and making them better.
Just to be clear, though, there'd still be the cost for their application fee and reservation, which is pretty low, $25, $35.
Per hour or indefinitely?
Typically, I think it's
You have it
20
at
to $25
an hour.
per hour.
So if most meetings are 2 hours, so it just adds up.
And then they can approach the board and seek to waive that, whether for that one event or for a series of events.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that portion of it is something I definitely understand, the amounts because we still have to cover costs of the building. It's like the Veterans Hall last night, there's 5 lights out in the ceiling and there just need to be some TLC. So I understand there's those costs that we've, hopefully we can get covered and take care of. And that should be a burden of the people who use that facility. So I understand that. But the insurance was the only thing that I was like, yeah, that's getting up there a little bit,
Yeah.
$1,400,
Yeah.
a year just to have a, couple hour meeting every month. It was like, that's a little high.
I don't understand, what we're taking money from one budget line and moving it to another for a supervisor to present information
Well,
to the people. That doesn't make
the
sense.
one thing, and this caveat I got to put in there is, it's my meeting right now because I'm the chair, but I can be not elected as the chair of the District 3 Community Council, and so it could go to somebody else, and then it's a community event. So.
Before, just to conclude my presentation, the last thing I wanted to cover was the application itself. So it's a 9-page application, but it's really just a one-pager. The ministerial permit, the simple ones that don't require any discretion, is just simply fill out the first page, and that's really all you have to do. There's some boxes that you check on that first page that could trigger you to fill out some additional papers. For example, my events, we anticipate more than 100 people. Well, now you've got to fill out a couple more pages to describe it. And same with the alcohol use, you've got to get your ABC permit. And with food sales, we want to know, okay, well, who are the vendors, et cetera. This gives us the information so that we can run it through the other departments so that we get more eyes on it. And also so that Sarah and Risk, if they do want insurance from us, she'll process that through our insurer, and then they'll spit out the number of the cost of that insurance. So that's why we have them fill this out.
Glenn, I know myself, I have a tennis court in my house, and I have a regular homeowner's policy, and then I have an umbrella that just for that outdoor events, sprained ankles or somebody, you know, one of our good neighbors. Did you look into that? Is there maybe a certain that, because our county policy is so vast, it
Yeah.
covers so much, could you logo it down that outdoor events?
I don't think so. I'll ask Sarah again.
I know that's
We've
a
talked
wild
at this
question.
But umbrella policies typically get triggered once you've hit that maximum on the primary policy.
Sarah's right behind you, so let's.
Okay, yeah.
Sarah knows it.
So can you repeat the question? This is Sarah Duarte, Risk Management.
Well, I have a standard homeowners and I have an umbrella.
Yes.
I have a tennis court, and State Farm told me it's a good idea. You never know. Kids playing there.
And an umbrella
Yeah.
can be designated to a certain or specific event.
Which is-
but,
yeah.
But Glenn's right. It's over and above your primary policy. So an umbrella is just that. It's kind of an overarching coverage. Does that make sense?
It's not very much money a year for $1 million. That's why
But coverage nonetheless.
Your
Just in
insurance company told you it was a good idea to get more insurance?
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
well, we did talk in the evening.
So that's it for the presentation, if you have any questions.
One more thing I gotta say, we acredited and all of a sudden you found out one day, guess what? You get to do Parks and Recs now. And I was just pleased to see that you enthusiastically and conscientiously took it on with a good attitude, and it wasn't like some new chore. And I know you did a ton of work and a ton of research on the package, so I'm just very appreciative, and I want the public to know that.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. My team helped out a lot. Garrett, Danielle. Mark, of course.
Yeah.
And others.
Thanks, Garrett.
Jeff White.
Oh, thanks, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, because Jeff really helped out Garrett with the website, and if you don't mind, we'd like to show you the website real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, so Garrett, do you want to walk them through it real fast? Yeah, do you mind, Heather, if he sits with you? Because Jeff especially put a lot of time in this reservation, so I want to just point it out because it's actually pretty cool.
For the website, this is pretty much the landing page where everyone will come for the first time. We kind of duplicated our mission statement for the first paragraph, and then we have easy clickable links for everything below to get pretty much anything that's in that handbook or the park permit application. So you can see we have the county park list here. If you click on it, it'll take you to all of our county parks, as well as list all the amenities in each county park. So if you're looking for someone with a picnic area or basketball court, it's just one stop to help you find each location. As well as the park use permit here. Again, our mission statement, as well as clickable, downloadable for everything that Glenn just presented you right here. If we were to go the insurance route, we have a list of the private insurance companies that are fairly local to our area, the most local being the Manicero Insurance. For parks that aren't county parks, we also wanted to give that list. So we have the city and community district parks, which is everything that is not county owned or maintained. Each of these names you can click on and it'll take you to the city or community district website, as well as a phone number and address if you just wanted to go there and check it out. We also have this Parks and Recreation calendar here. You can see we filled it up with a couple events. You'll notice that we do have like the storm debris green waste here, just because it is at a park. When you click on things like this, it'll pull up the flyer and show you a little bit more information. And then we have our online reservation request. So this will give you an opportunity to place a temporary hold on your facility of your choosing. You can scroll down. We have pretty much everything listed. You'll see Fiddletown Park basketball court, horseshoe pits, picnic area 1 with barbecue, so on and so forth. And then when you click reserve now, it'll prompt you to log in. And I can actually log in real quick if you want to see. Oops, sorry. So if a member of the public doesn't have an account, they'll be prompted to make an account. And then when you log in, you can see we're reserving Fiddletown Park basketball court. This is the proposed fee. You can go ahead and choose your area, your date. We do request that you choose at least 5 days in advance, just so if there was the conflict, like the Fiddler's Jam, we can, send them an email or give them a call, say, hey, actually, Fiddler's Jam is happening right now. But we do also have the opportunity to block out dates. So if we knew Fiddler's Jam was coming, we can actually make that day non-reservable, and no one will be able to reserve it. It'll ask you a few questions, fill everything out, and then you hit submit. And then we have an email address set up that we have access to. We get notified. We'll be able to check everything out. And make sure that they fill out the correct permitting material.
Yeah, if they just wanted to browse and wanted to, some people don't like to sign up to just look around because they're a guest feature.
Well, I think that the.
Because you said that you ask
is
them all
really
to sign
simple,
in.
But can you do as a guest?
So to reserve a facility, you would have to create an account. But if you want to browse and look at parks,
Yeah,
it's just, you can do it as a guest. You don't have to create an
okay,
account.
all right. It's when you decide to do it that you have to get an account. Okay.
That's correct.
That makes sense. Sorry.
That's
That's
pretty
it.
much
Great, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, and so any other questions? Otherwise, the plan is to bring the ordinance with the fees, and then if you'd like, if the county would like to adopt the application in the guidebook or the handbook, then we would implement the fees through the ordinance and the rules.
So where we're sounding like where we're at right now is, what were the two categories of permits?
There's the ministerial,
Okay.
which are the indoor and outdoor simple reservation of space. And then there's the discretionary category.
Okay, so what we're leaning towards now is ministerial is just check a box.
Yeah, no
And
insurance.
discretionary is talk about insurance. And then as far as all the fees, there can be appeal before the board
Yes,
or whomever would like to appeal fees.
yes.
So if like the Boy Scouts came and appealed, we could encourage them that it's, Pioneer Park's a great place for like an Eagle Scout project or something. I'm just saying that because there's.
Well,
Exactly.
Andy has also done quite a bit. Our dog park over there is thankful for the Rotary, and also for some more new stuff at Pioneer Park. Rotary's also done some excellent stuff for us, so.
And the ministerial would be just check the box, hold harmless.
Yes. And indemnify, defend and indemnify. Agree to defend and indemnify,
Yeah.
which.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So if somebody agrees to defend and indemnify, it means that they're actually agreeing to defend you in a lawsuit if something were to happen that they caused, or that is, I guess, is caused, right? And unless it's through your recklessness, negligence, et cetera. But as a practical matter, it's not requiring them to get insurance. So it becomes kind of a bit of a pain to go after them.
Of course, I've got to use my own meeting, so
Yeah.
that would be, I have the public coming in, I invite all the public to come to my meeting. They're supposed to be, anybody that works or lives in District 3. So they come in, I normally have them sign in. So would I need another sign-in sheet that says, hey, you need, by attending this meeting, you need to hold the county harmless from?
Yes, or you could just simply incorporate that language into your existing sign-in sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I can do.
Well, this is coming back.
Yes, yes. But if I can get some, at least, direction on the fees, if the fees work out, and the fees are in both the application and the handbook, the last page of the handbook. So if there's any issue about the fees, because if we make substantive changes on day one, then we'll have 2 more meetings for the ordinance.
Got it.
The only one I still had to laugh at is the horseshoe pit, $20 an hour. Since there's no real county maintenance to be done on that.
Yeah.
There's no, I know the pickleball tennis course, there's gonna be eventual maintenance. Horseshoe, there's disc golf, needs to be maintenance because trees have fallen on them.
That gets done for free.
But, that, I don't see that, for reserving a time needs to be.
And that's like the horseshoe pit in Fiddletown. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the horseshoe players do a lot more maintenance than Acra did, or, they maintained it, the heck, they even rebuilt it.
Yeah, I bet.
So, it's,
These fees are only for reservation.
I understand that, yeah.
The process of reservation has already cost the county some copious amounts of money. We mentioned 5 staff members who've been working on this for hours and hours and hours. So you can go use those horseshoe pits for free whenever you want. But if you would like the right to reserve them, that's paying for that website and all of this effort that's been taking place. That's just a thought.
Ultimately up to the board, these fees.
The 2 that I'm looking at would be the disc golf and the horseshoe pit of $10.
$10 per.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion. Because there's, other than your staff time to reserve it, but which should be fairly quick and easy and off the way we go.
Yeah. And largely captured in the application fee.
Right.
And then we will be revisiting the fees in a year or so, because we'll have a much better idea what the actual costs are.
Right.
It feels, the fees seem a little bit high to me overall.
Could we consider an interim, maybe halfway? If you don't raise the fees for 20 years and then you raise them, it always creates a ruckus.
Yeah.
But if you go 20 cents and $1 and $2.
Kind of a percentage escalation per
Yeah.
year or something.
To
That was-
Brian's point, because I felt the same way, whoa.
Yeah.
That these fees are high.
I understand, I think it's a little bit high, but I understand it is reserving, which is, I can see that's a nice thing, but I kind of go, man, how much to reserve that thing? Like, you want to reserve the horseshoe pit's $145 a day? It's like, woo. I guess that'd probably stop your reservations.
True.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody use the horseshoe pits.
The only thing is that I do see the Veterans Hall, the Scout Hut, Molly Joyce, Scout Hut, those fees I don't think are that high. Because you're actually renting a facility.
It's got to turn the heat on.
Yeah, you gotta pay for all that stuff.
And actually, I think I misspoke, because when we do bring this as an ordinance, the board can make amendments to the fee on the first reading. It's so long as the change is not made on the second reading. Is that right? Great, yeah, okay. So there's still time to think it through. We can present it, and then the board can really think it through.
I'd like to think about it more, because I mean, you're talking about, is it just for administration like it says, or is this also looking like, almost like replacement?
I think it's for everything. It's for maintenance. It just goes to administrative maintenance costs, just everything in general. And like I mentioned, we don't know exactly what those costs are right now, and we'll have a much better idea in a year.
And, because I'm not throwing this at you or your staff at all, Glenn, don't get me wrong, but some look and say, hey, we pay a lot of taxes, and then to go use something, we got to pay again.
Yeah.
I have a little heartburn. I understand the insurance thing, especially because the county has a $100,000 deductible, where a lot of people, if they get insurance, their deductible might be $5,000 or less. So, yeah.
Can we get a deductible insurance just to cover the 100,000?
I'm sure the insurance company will say something. Okay.
So this could all come back with just a couple different suggestions on fees.
Yeah, I think it would be really helpful if the board knows where it wants to go on the insurance issue, and then if just fees is the open question, and then that'll be the main.
You can fine tune that at the first reading.
Yeah.
So the legal requirement related to the fees is that the amount that's charged has to be reasonably related to the cost of providing that service. So, you know.
So a baseball field should cost more than a horseshoe pit, is what you're saying?
Yes.
And we've run some rough numbers because of that rule, and we've posted it on the Park and Rec website. And our administrative costs, I don't know if we've posted it yet, but no, okay, but our administrative costs exceed these costs, so we don't have an issue with that. So we can charge up to these fees if we want to.
Like you said, horseshoe pit or baseball field, there should be a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just seeing baseball field, $20 an hour sounds good. And pickleball courts, $20 an hour sounds good, and the rest could be 10. And
Yeah.
basketball court, 10, horseshoe pit, 10. Just golf course, 10. And, yeah.
The facility's good, 25.
Yeah, because again, it's the maintenance.
I think the kitchen use seems a little bit high to me, too.
$350 for the kitchen.
Yeah, there is a lot there, but it's part of it's trying to provide service to people, and that seems kind of, so if somebody wanted to use that and have a little birthday party or an event, $350 is quite a bit of money, plus insurance too,
Yeah.
Because normally the only thing you'd use that kitchen for is a couple hours, as you feed somebody or do something. So yeah, I kind of agree with that too.
Okay. So is there a number in mind, 250, 200?
What's a Veterans Hall charge for theirs, I wonder? And does that include the kitchen?
That I don't know. What, you mean what ACRA has charged?
No, the Veterans Hall, like the American Legion.
I don't know. Quite a bit more? Okay. Sarah says she believes over 500.
That was for 2 hours that we normally have our luncheons. Okay.
Well.
But that's the hall and the
kitchen, I'll pull down my flag
right?
then.
Yeah.
Do you know what gas costs per gallon these days?
Okay, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I'll cease and desist.
I don't mind the high per day costs because, we're going to build these pickleball courts and then somebody just reserves it for the day for a couple dollars more and then nobody else gets to use them. So I don't mind that, and then just per hour, have it be less, which would encourage people to allow others to use the courts.
I would, is there a way of coming in with a fee for just a couple hours, kitchen and Veterans Hall? Because, we have the $25 an hour for the Veterans Hall, but could we come up with a fee, that somebody, preps food in there, does an event and then clean up or something, that maybe a 4-hour window instead of a whole, all day?
Sure. Or we could do a per hour. Pleasure of the board, I don't know, $50 an hour for the kitchen.
Yeah, that'd work.
Because the one thing we don't have up there is a whole bunch of cleaning staff or anybody else. We have one person that goes through there every so often, but not constantly like we have in this building and stuff.
And we do have, for the facilities, we require a deposit. So if there is a mess left behind, it comes out of the deposit. So there's that.
You haven't gotten a deposit out of me.
Yeah, well, we haven't started it yet.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Okay. I think we've given direction.
All right. So,
Needed, Glenn?
we're all clear on the no insurance required on the ministerial.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
But we need to at least do some type of probably sign-in sheet to give people the idea that they're waiving.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of my suggestion on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we would post the sheet and require them and, or alternatively, the language from the sheet.
Right.
So if you'd want to incorporate that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that's going to work. So if someone rented one of the buildings for a party, a retirement party,
Yeah.
every guest at that party is going to have to sign a release. I'm not sure that's going to work. Who's going to police that?
From a practical standpoint, there are going to be people who are not signing it.
Because usually it's the person who reserves it who's going to do the indemnity
Yeah.
for things that come up during that event that we get sued for, that they cause.
What I was envisioning for
that's-
that was,
But if you have, I mean, I want to host the retirement party for X person. So now I have to, I'm hosting that event. So I have to go get insurance or, how am I going to I mean, I personally couldn't identify the county.
Well, then you have the option of insurance. You have to check this box if you're gonna reserve it. Well, I don't wanna be liable for all those people. Well, hey, we have this insurance policy sitting right here. And they can so choose to get the.
Well, that's the reason I was trying to go with the sign-in sheet that you're holding yourself.
well, what I'm envisioning here is that the applicant signs off, checks a box saying that they're holding the county harmless, waiving any assuming any risk, and agreeing to defend and indemnify. And then there'd be a sign-in sheet for attendees, and I know that a lot of attendees, some of them might escape signing it, but that would just simply be a waiver of liability, so an assumption of the risk. Those people wouldn't be agreeing to defend and indemnify.
Right.
That's what I had in mind.
Okay.
But of course, none of this is foolproof. The foolproof is you require them to get insurance.
Yeah, I'm just not sure I've ever seen anywhere make all the guests sign the release to go to an event.
Well, I was just envisioning that there'd be a sign-in at the door, and then people would just sign in at the door.
Yeah.
And,
Still, I think I've
good
never.
luck getting everyone to sign.
And then so if the county has someone's commitment that they would indemnify and hold harmless the county, if, like you said, if it's me, I don't have enough money to do that. So the county's gonna have to make a choice whether they're gonna try to enforce that provision or not.
But, as we're talking in here, if somebody wanted a public meeting in here, if a candidate, say, wanted to have, one of our congressional leaders decided to have a meeting here, we're not charging that, we're not asking that person in this building, but we would up at the Veterans Hall. So it's kind of like,
Well, that's up to the board. I mean,
Yeah.
you could carve out these governmental, quasi-governmental meetings or entities who want to have meetings in public buildings. I think that it may exist already, and if it doesn't, it was something that was drafted and maybe didn't go anywhere. But I think that was the idea, that if public spaces are getting used, other government entities like the school district or quasi-governmental entities don't pay. That's what it's been in the past.
Yeah, and that's another approach for the facilities. Because a lot of the users of facilities, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, they have insurance.
right. More to come.
Yeah, if that's the case, I mean, which is true, what do you need to charge them as far as that insurance? Because if they're providing theirs, as long as we get a certificate of insurance from them.
Well, yes. The way the insurance requirement reads is that you have to show proof of your insurance, private insurer, or if you don't have insurance, then you have to
Okay,
get
I
one.
forgot about, yeah, that's right, I forgot. It's underlined. I forgot about it, you're right.
All right. To be continued.
To be continued. Okay.
Any public comment on this issue?
We have a rush.
Yeah. Line up, here we go.
I want to thank Glenn and Garrett too. He's been very helpful on some of the Rotarian concerns. Again, me and Chaz are upcountry Rotary members, and we had a long-standing beneficial relationship with the county and with Akron for many years. We do have a fundraiser that we do once a year. It's at Pioneer Park. It's our 4th year. And our concerns were, we're averaging about 250 people. It's great for the community, but we use the whole facility. We have people parking on the bottom field, and we also have the 21 crafters. We had 20 cars, a band. We use the Veterans Hall because we have the judges. We needed a private spot so they can tally. And we don't have the public go up into the Veterans Hall. We have the public, we have our own restrooms we have catered in. We also have a garbage pickup, big container. So we were concerned about hearing how that would affect us. I asked Garrett to put us down for, we do the 3rd Saturday in September for the last 4 years. So we wanted to see how Rotary is going to be able to help out in the future. The last couple of years, I got a grant from the Community Foundation, and we were able to put some things in the park as far as playground equipment. We put up a basketball hoop. So we worked very well. So we wanted to see the procedure as far as where we go from now, because we usually ask for a grant from Rotary, or I'll look for grants, how we can improve the park with the scouts, because Chaz Murphy here is also going to talk a little about the scouts. We do our labor and our expertise is usually with members, if we need to get a plumber or if we hire somebody out. And like he'll talk about the scout hut would need some work done there too. So what we're looking for is when we talk about, when Glenn was talking about, we get 200 people up there, we have our own insurance. We didn't want to have to ask everyone to sign something in that case. But we do get our license, and we have our own insurance from Rotary that covers the event. So our main thing is this year we were thinking of helping Accra before they were dissolved, putting stuff in at Molly Joyce. We were thinking of putting an awning because trees were taken down. that needed to be taken down, but there's no shade up there now for the TGIF event, which we participate in. How would we go about that now? In other words, how can we get involved in that as a Rotary group, or even other groups like Lions and stuff? We did the Little League field down there. Sometimes we'll go up there and maintain some of that. I heard there was a fence down at the Little Field at Molly Joyce. We didn't want to go up there and do anything until we heard, what the procedure is now, what we need to do. The same thing as a dog park. We put a dog park up there. The fence was damaged, but I talked to Diana, and they were working on that. We want to do a hands-off until we hear from the board what to do as far as future projects and the procedure involved in doing that. Because if we're going to do a grant, we do that in a year in advance, and we usually have to have a written grant telling them exactly what we plan to do with that money. Because we'll pay half of the grant, usually it's $2,500 out of the Rotary, and we'll get a matching. But we have to have it all in writing, and Pat knows that too. So it's just the idea that we're concerned in a way, because everything used to be a phone call. Talk to Diane, hey, we got money, we want to put a grant, what do you need to have done this year for the parks? But I know it's going to be a lot different now. So I already put it on the calendar for the 3rd September. I've downloaded the application. I've got the insurance ready. So I just wanted to make sure we do everything right, and I wanted to hear from Glenn, and he did a great presentation on what we need to do in the future. But I just wanted to make sure that we are good partners down the road, because we want to continue to do work on the 2 parks. And like I say, I think because of the no leash law up in Pioneer, the dog park was necessary. I've given good reviews on that. And again, we heard about the hoop. We jumped all over it. We want to continue to be good partners. Chaz?
Well,
Morning.
good afternoon. I'm Chaz Murphy, and I'm Upcountry Rotary, but I'm also the committee chair for Troop 78 Scouts, and we completed an Eagle project working with a Rotary up there a few months back with help from Jeff. We did a lot of nice things to the playground up there. We'd like to continue to do that. And we've been looking at this beautiful building that says Scout Hut on it that nobody's used for years. It's been sitting empty because it needs some work. And we would like to do that work, get it usable. I'm looking at the streamlining we're talking about and costs that we're talking about. I'm just going to look at the Girl Scouts. They meet twice a month. Do they need to apply for each meeting, or can they do the whole year at once? I mean, otherwise we're charging them $30 per meeting just to apply to have that meeting, and then it's the $50 for the meeting time itself. So that's $160 we're going to charge the Girl Scouts to use that hall for 4 hours. If we get the Scout Hub up and running, I would like to have both Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts use it on a regular basis. But do you, each meeting you have to go through the whole application process, or can you do it for the whole year? We're going to meet twice a month for the whole year. I mean, does Jeff need to apply each month to be able to hold his meeting? So I'm
Glenn can answer.
Yeah, I'll speak to some of these issues just as they come up. First of all, no, we want to make things as easy as possible. So the best thing to do, call us if you have seemingly unique issue, but we can handle multiple events with one permit. So there's that. I think you also mentioned something about if you're insuring a large event, also having people sign. If you've already got insurance, then that does away with this whole need to have anyone sign anything. So I wanted to throw that out there too.
What about the waiver? As far as nonprofit organizations, waiver?
The waiver you would be able to take that to the board, and then the board would be able to waive it for a particular event or for a series of events. So, and we'd be really happy to work with you on fixing up the Scout Hut too.
Yeah,
So,
because all the profits go to new services. Nothing comes back to us as a club.
yeah.
And then minus expenses, so it goes to camps, it goes to scholarships for the high schools. So to be charged fees. that
Yeah,
would
it
eat
did.
into all that.
Absolutely. And we could work out some agreement that we take to the board where you fix it up and now in exchange,
In kind, yeah.
yeah, you've got free use of.
Sure.
something
So
like that.
3026. Wait, no. 2126. I was just saying for 100 years, if you fix the building and keep fixing it, you can use it for rest of our lifetime. Anyway, sorry.
Now, that makes me feel better, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's things we'd like to do, and we are a nonprofit.
We would like you to do them.
and
Yeah.
We're very
It's a
grateful.
beautiful park up there, and so we'd like to use it more. And it's a shame to have that gorgeous building sitting there and nothing happening with it, so.
I would agree with you.
What kind of repairs do you think?
Somebody
Just
broke off.
routine maintenance or is it?
There's some routine maintenance. We need to finish some painting or redo some painting. There's some drainage issues around outside. They have a hose bib, I think somebody must have broken off, so plumbing is off, and it's been off for the building for quite a while because it just shoots right out of the wall. I'm sorry, during Acra time, I didn't just go down there and sweat one on. That's what I should have done. And we wouldn't have that issue. I could still do it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So in the past, you made one phone call. Glenn, what one phone call? They just call you?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a number on our website. There's a number on the website for anyone to call if there's any questions. And so, you know, there's a number of ways to accomplish a permit. So,
And you may still bump into Diane up there.
yeah.
No, I've got her, she's on my speed dial, I can
Okay.
get a hold of her. But that's great, because we have a group of people, I'm a retired carpenter, I worked in the trades for 45 years. So we have a lot of good people with experience that would love to,
You have a lot of great people.
yeah, so, anyway.
And then thank you
Hard
for
work
the
for a
the
little
basketball
club.
court, which I've been trying to get completed 7 years. So thank you.
As
It was-
far as the
it was
pres-
fun.
the presentation for this year's car show, we had to present it to the board with this, we still have to come back?
You can present it right now.
Because we're third Saturday of the month, and that'd be September the 20th this year.
You might want to speak in the mic, because people on online.
September the 20th of this year. It's the third Saturday. We've already,
I've got the September
I'm
19th.
sorry, 19th is Saturday, apologize.
So September 19th is your car show
Yeah.
for the
It's
McRotary?
Unfortunately, it usually falls on Fiddler's Jam, but it's one of those things, we've had it for many years and want to stay with it. It's the third Saturday in September. And then we're looking at, we're securing a band in advance, of course. We apply for the insurance. We also go to ABC and get our liquor license. We have our vendors, we start passing out, asking for the vendors who wants to come back. So we'd like to do it again this year. It's been, again, it's a moneymaker for us, and everything goes back to youth services. Nothing comes back to our club.
Don't need to convince me.
And I tightened up the lug nuts on my golf cart, so the wheel won't fall off this time.
So we usually ask to rent the whole park because of the parking and the Veterans Hall. And we use the whole park. So again, we wouldn't want to have, you know, a birthday party going on at the same time. I think it would be, you know, counterproductive because it'd be too many alcohols being served, just beer and wine, and we have food vendors. Scouts bring up drinks, popcorn. So it's a big community event, and I can tell you, the last couple of years with those 200 people, they are more than overwhelmed because not many things up country happen like this. Because it's usually down
Been very successful.
down in Jackson area. So it's been a very positive thing for all Rotarians and for the community. So we're asking if we can do it again this year and future years, as long as we can continue to have success in it. So we're asking you for the board to vote on that so we can start promoting it.
Well, we like our
Asking if
car
it's okay
shows.
with Glenn too, obviously.
I don't Unfortunately, I don't think they can do that today. I'm sure you could gather from their reaction that that's something they're amenable to, but since it wasn't on the agenda to approve your permit for but I think GSA knows about the date. I don't think they're gonna give it out.
And we will work with you to help you bring this to the board for that.
Thank you.
Well, there's another question. Could they, if it's an annual event, could they, as soon as that one's over, sign it a year ahead? How far do you go on the calendar?
Yeah, I don't think we have any restriction about that. So day after the event, you could sign up for the next year.
Because I know at Dandelion Days, as they're leaving, they pay for the next year's, about 90% of them pay to hold their spot the next year. So they've got to have it on the city's calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, we're not going to make it too clumsy. We
No.
like to keep it streamlined, but,
Yeah, that's the goal.
yeah.
So I guess we would have to be put on the calendar for next meeting in order to do this, or
We can do that.
Yeah.
What do we do to get on the calendar for next week?
Well,
Contact me, I'll work with you and we'll put it on there.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
You guys feel better now?
Oh, yeah.
Ms. LeBanco?
Good morning, or good afternoon, Chairman Crew and members of the board. I'm Jamie LeBanco, District 5. I told myself that I was going to come to this meeting today and I was going to stay in my seat.
I made the same mistake.
And I was going to get my feet under me and kind of catch up with everything that has been going on with all of you here in this building. And then this agenda item really just started spinning all these things in my head because I am, if nothing else, a planner of community events that use community parks, as well as a member of a fair board that deals with a lot of the same issues that you're talking about right now with rental fees and insurance. A Rotarian, like the gentleman before me, who had the same kind of concerns about how our nonprofits will be impacted by this. And I have a novel perspective as one of the members who put the ACRA board together. We were a formation committee, Pat Crew and I, many, many years ago. So I was sad when ACRA went away, but that was probably just an emotional response to it. Some of the questions I had were relative to what actually triggers someone, if there is a number, a threshold that's met that requires somebody to get a basic permit, or if the basic permit is just required because you want to make sure that you show up and there's not other people there. For example, if I wanted to have a birthday party at the Fiddletown Park and I was going to invite 25 people, do I have to have a reservation for that? Because I'm assuming the contract that is the reservation is what requires the insurance, right? So could a person just have a birthday party and not have that contract and that reservation? So that was my first question.
Here comes Len to answer.
These as they
Okay.
come up. So to answer that question, there's nothing that requires a permit for that first category. There's a park rule that says if you've got an event that has over 100 people, that you need a permit.
Okay, so I will take that question next. If you have over 100 people attending your event, I can understand the need for making the reservation and obviously insurance, but it was also mentioned that there was a possibility that that also then initiated probably the Environmental Health Department for food service, and I'm curious if that is relative to only food for sale, or if that is actually, if you're gonna have 100 people at the park and you're gonna serve food, if that brings that into play.
Yeah, the way we've got it set up is it's only food sales. Alcohol use and alcohol sales trigger the discretionary permit, but only food sales.
So
That's only 100 people or more, correct?
No, food sales triggers the
Alcohol.
discretionary permit regardless of how small the event is.
What
And
about
same with
alcohol
the
use?
alcohol. Same with the alcohol. The discretionary permit, I mean, it's a fairly simple process. With the alcohol, though, you need to get your ABC permit. If you're gonna
Don't tell some of
sell,
the people that go
if you're
use the
gonna
park.
sell, I mean,
Yeah.
some people will have alcohol at the park. What are you gonna do? But when you're getting the permit and you're telling the county, hey, we're gonna sell food, or we're gonna sell alcohol, or you're openly going to use alcohol, then we need to know about it and we need to address it.
What if you're selling a ticket to the event at the park? So here's an example. We have a chili cook-off. And we sell tickets to the chili cook-off, and that then triggers environmental health, wanting every person who is participating in the chili cook-off to complete the application that shows they have a hand washing sink, where their food's stored. I mean, it's a whole health permit application to serve chili at a chili cook-off. This is a City of Plymouth thing, so I'm not saying I've run up against this with the county or ACRA, but I know that these are the types of things that we deal with under these kind of same umbrellas that you guys are discussing right now.
Our application just requires the applicant to list the vendors. And we're pretty, I mean, the thing about Amador County, we're pretty streamlined in the permitting process. So we would just want to bring the environmental health department into the loop and just put their eyes on it. And it wouldn't, I couldn't imagine it being a burden, an unnecessary burden.
I appreciate that comment, but clearly you've never put on a chili cook-off.
Yeah, environmental health, they're a function of the state, and that they have very different rules. We don't have the ability to really control that quite so much, so.
So I was just curious if this permit or the reservation would then trigger that on a ticketed event, as opposed to selling food. Does that make sense? Does that question seem clear? I mean, there's a difference between selling food from a food truck, and that food truck has all of the appropriate permits, or the Rotary Club has an event at the park and they're selling tickets, and they're serving tri-tip sandwiches. So there's just some differences there. It's nuanced, and I would just ask you to look into it, because I know sometimes on the receiving end of that, it's really complicated.
Yeah, it's not an issue that I'm concerned about, but run it through environmental health, and we could see what they have to say about it. And you and I, we can reach out to environmental health and figure it out.
Perfect, thank you. I was gonna mention really quickly the having people sign forms. The hold harmless forms. The City of Plymouth has started making us do that for some of our events as well, in addition to our insurance policies. And boy, nothing says welcome to my baby shower like here, sign a hold harmless form to get into the door. And then at the events, we are really now tasked with trying to get every parade participant or their rightful guardian to sign these forms to participate. The City of Plymouth has finally given up on us actually getting those forms completed, and so now they send a staff member to collect forms at some of these events. I know I'm giving you some worst case scenarios here, but as I hear you discuss these things, I've seen these things playing themselves out in our events. The City of Plymouth could potentially be going a little over the top. That wouldn't surprise me, but that's been an issue for us with the hold harmless. It becomes not just for the Rotary Club, but for every participant in a parade, every participant in a grape stomp, every participant at a car show. Anyone that enters anything now has to sign something, so I just want to draw that to your attention. With regards to the fees for standing events like the Girl Scouts, when I was thinking about the fee structure, you're potentially charging the Girl Scouts $1,200 a year to use those facilities for their meetings, and that's a lot of cookies. So I'm wondering if maybe the standing events and your local nonprofits could, as you mentioned, have an annual permit, and perhaps this board would consider waiving those fees for those local nonprofits that are, by and large, investing back into the properties in the community in a way that I'm sure exceeds those fees.
And there is a process that allows for that.
Perfect. Nothing makes the committees that I sit on happier than when we're working to put a fundraiser together to do something for the City of Plymouth, and the City of Plymouth is charging us a bunch of fees to put on the fundraiser to do something for the City of Plymouth. So it makes people pretty spicy. I'm just giving you a heads up on that one. anyways, those were my thoughts on that. And then just wondering if staff could actually do a good, thorough research of annual events that, like Brian mentioned, the Fiddler's Jam, and alerting those folks to the fact that they need to get these things taken care of and get them, you know, a soft hold on those dates on your calendar.
Yeah, reach out to the regular annual event holders. We could do that.
Thank you.
Give them, do a priority at the start of the year or something, whatever.
Yes, certainly.
Well, some of the things we've been discussing and what Jamie brought up today reminds me of the old saying, we have found the enemy and he is us. No offense, but it just probably goes back to the court system, quite honestly.
It's this entire meeting. We got rid of all of our wood stoves. We legislated all the loggers out of existence. We have just, everything we're talking about is we're trying to figure out a way for the government to pay for things that used to be done by the citizens.
This was the big advantage of having ACRA, and they took care of this stuff.
We're finding that
That's why we,
painfully clear to me.
That's why we had them. It's unfortunate they're gone.
But having the health department at a chili cook-off seems almost an oxymoron.
Yeah, and I think that the health department has its state rules, but the only other issue is the insurance company would want their eyes on that. So that's probably the only other hurdle. Just want to throw that out there.
Oh, I did it.
I'm sorry, one additional question. I know for most of the personal events that I do, Shenandoah Schoolhouse is a good example. I can get a additional insured certificate from my insurance company, and I think I get like 5 a year or something. They don't charge me for them. I'm not sure, because I, knock on wood, still have a traditional insurance carrier. Knock on wood, I hate even saying it out loud. But I don't know if someone on the FAIR plan could get that. So I almost wonder if you're putting a whole group of people in your community who are now forced to be on the FAIR plan at a bit of a disadvantage, because I'm not sure that they could get those types of additional insured certificates from their insurance. Just a question.
Well, they have to have their wraparound, you know, that covers everything except for the fire. So you still have the AAA AAA homeowners insurance. You still have, you know, all the rest of these. So and believe me, they'll be glad to sell you an umbrella.
And I do want to note that on our website, we've included some insurance companies, including locals, that provide event insurance. So in the event you don't have insurance through your homeowner's insurance policy, you can get it that way. And of course, through the county.
All right, so this is coming back. Any more public comment? Nothing on Zoom?
No, not at this time.
All right, so no action. There's direction to staff on this one. Okay, 4D is a request to fill a full-time ag inspector 123 position.
Yes, hopefully this will be quick and you guys can move on to the next item, but we do have a position that has currently been vacant for a little while. We're looking to fill it. I'm looking for direction on when the appropriate time to do that is. Maybe July 1st might seem a natural time to bring that back, and I can go to HR and make sure that we're prepared to do that at a time that the board thinks that that would be appropriate.
Oh, Chuck, this probably is a question for you, because I thought about that. Isn't it about a 2-month process to circulate it and?
Right, to advertise and get somebody on board.
Well,
So maybe mid-May might be where you could at least advertise?
well, Pat, so here's the deal. We already, we had it on consent agenda a couple of months ago, and so they've gone out. We've already advertised it. We've already got candidates, but I don't want that to discourage the board from finding the time that really, financially or whatever is appropriate. We can go back, doing a little bit of work. I know it puts a burden on HR or whatever, but they've been great. And so if July 1st is the time to do it, July 1st will make it happen. If May 1st is appropriate, we'll make that happen. But it has been suggested to me that July 1st would be a natural time at the beginning of the fiscal year
New budget year, okay.
to do that. And so that's kind of what I'm assuming would be the most appropriate thing to do here.
Okay.
I like it.
Any questions from the board?
I just have one. I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but how needed is this position?
That's a great question, Brian, and I appreciate you bringing it. I actually had a 4-page PowerPoint presentation with different grants and different monies that we bring in for this, and I will not bring that up, but I will just tell you that we have two positions. Well, we have 2 ag biologists, and we have one that's an extra hire position that does all the work of our department. The county pays for me, and the county pays for my admin secretary, which is half of a clerical person. The state of California, in one way or the other, really pays for the rest of the staff. And so for this ag biologist and for the extra hire position, we have grants that we use that pay for about 50% of what they do. And I, as overhead, am able to claim anywhere from 10 to 25% of their time on top of that to charge back on those grants and those reimbursement programs. So we get some money from unclaimed gas tax when farmers buy gasoline that they shouldn't be taxed for. And so that money goes into this pot that the local agriculture department then is able to get their hands on. And we get, well over $160,000 a year to fund our program for that. And then like another $80,000 in mill tax from pesticide sales into California. So, but those we only get when we do things outside the office, right? Inspections, different things outside the office. And those inspectors are the people that do those things. If I go and do those things, the state won't pay me for them because they say, no, I'm overhead. I get paid for out of overhead. And if I had 50 inspectors like Fresno County does, getting 10% on each one of those, pays for my position pretty well. But in our small county, if we don't have 3 or 4 people out generating those inspections and those revenues for me, it's pretty hard to pay for me. And so then the county ends up is paying a lot of the burden for the position. So necessary, that's in the eye of the beholder, and obviously you are the people that make that decision. But I could go through the specific things that those do, but it's all the activities of the department that we do, and we do get about 40% of that money back at the end of the year from the state that I can claim back as reimbursement. So we have fluctuated in the number of positions that we have over the years, but it's pretty much been 2 inspectors. Some years we'll have an extra hire, some years we can't. My guess is this year will be one of those years we do without an extra help employee for the summer. That's probably the reality that we're dealing with. Calaveras and Tuolumne County has the exact same staffing as we do. El Dorado has an extra person or 2 compared to us. Placer County has about 5 more people than we do. So I believe that our department is right-sized for our population and for the activities that we have, that it enables them to go out and do enough activities to pay enough of my salary to where you guys aren't burdened too much. And I think that our net county cost is about $500,000, I think maybe 500,000 is the net county cost. And I do try to keep that number as contained as possible.
No,
Hope that answers your question.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Any public comment? Anybody on Zoom?
Not at this time.
All right. Bring it
I
back
make
to
a
the
motion-
board.
Motion to approve fill the 1 full-time position, agriculture inspector.
As of July 1st?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Right, we had a motion by Supervisor Odetto and a second by Supervisor Cornell to approve the full-time ag inspector position, start at the process on July 1st.
They can onboard. We can advertise it beforehand, but.
Okay, that was
we
kind
won't-
of my
We won't have
question.
anybody on board until.
By then anyway, yeah, okay,
Certainly.
okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries 401.
Thank you.
Welcome. And this is the one we've been looking for, 4E.
Moved.
Awesome. All right. We had a motion by Supervisor Cornell and a second by Supervisor Neto to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 401. With that, we will adjourn till the next meeting on March 24th at 9 a.m. Thank you all for coming.